stream. No. Hello. I switched around stuff because I realized I just want to continue with this game. So I'll be doing promo Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then next Monday. But today we're doing more of this, which is technically a promo. I did get a promo code for it. It's just, you know, I have already technically done my promo count for this, but I am just a little bit obsessed. And I figured, you know, this way I can see if words escaped me. If we can get to an ending, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I feel like this is going to require, you know, several playthroughs. There seems to be a lot of endings. I don't know whether I am going to what words do I want to say? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I do know stuff, but I don't know. Whether I'll be able to continue after I get an ending, possibly, and do more story, or whether that would be the ending and I'll have to go back. But obviously I would like to make different choices sometimes, so that's okay. So, yeah. My brain is tired, so we're going to do story, and hopefully there'll be no alarming choices. Basically. Why do mystery games have to be like first-person horror as well? It's like, can we not just have mystery without first-person horror? Give me more good mystery games where there's a mystery and it's not like, I don't know. Also, hi Subterfuge, and just trying to process your question. So, because it's not come up on the screen, Subterfuge says, what would globalization on an interplanetary scale be called? Universalization? Galaxian? I don't know. Galactization? Universalization? It could just be called interplanetary globalization. Just like, you know, English don't have a word for the day after tomorrow, it's just the day after tomorrow. Right. Hey, the bot's working. Excellent. Okay, so yes, we have episode Flux, which we accidentally started last time and then got ourselves in a bit of a panic. There is a new one coming out next week. New episode. I don't know how that's going to fit in. It doesn't seem like the DLC has achievements, but I might, you know, mix it up and put in some of those quests when I'm playing, just because why not? I think I think words. So we have so many cycles before Maywick is on his way. So what I'm wanting to do is, I'm ignoring Ethan because he's an ass. We've got 2 cycles before Flux comes back in a thing. And I'm thinking we should probably do the Fang quest. So we need more upgrade points before we can do anything else, and I'd be, you know, likely to need 3 before I can really do stuff. So we failed one. We failed that. No, not that one. We failed that one, I think. Yeah, we failed breaking quarantine, but we have done all of these quests, so we've done fairly good. So at the moment I am going to do Disabled Tracker, because, no, hang on, Crack Conway is the next one, isn't it? Which will hopefully enable me to disable my tracker. We will find Ashton after. We did enter the Greenway, but we need to find somewhere to grow the seed. I don't really care about Ethan. And we will get mushrooms at some point. We need to grow mushrooms. We need to collect spores. Help set up the distillery. I do want to do that. Win a ticket. And then we've got the Yetahan stuff as well. But for now, what I think we should do is what I was originally going to do, and then went, oh, well, I'll just see what this thing is. And then got a 12 cycle countdown. So we're going to do Conway access. That's what we're committing to. We've got 2 5s, which are effectively 6s we need to eat. So we better check for things that require no energy. And then we've got 2s, which are 3s, because we've got +1 on everything. Okay, so slotting this first worm. So yeah, if you've not been keeping up, we are a human consciousness in a robotic body called a sleeper. Our body is sleeping somewhere. We are a copy of the consciousness. I'm not sure how many times this has happened. It feels like there's some sort of cyclical thing going on here. We escaped to a space station, and we've been doing various quests to, you know, sort of survive, and also try and, you know, fashion a life. People are both helping and hindering. And at the moment we're trying to disable our tracker so we can be free, because as long as we can be tracked, we can't be free. But yes. Hello and welcome. Yes. Hi. It's Saturday. It's the beginning of the weekend. I've already knit 2 legs on my thing that I'm knitting. I've got 2 more things to knit. And then I've got 3 achievements in a game that leaves Game Pass at the end of this month. And then I've got to finish writing up a letter. But I feel like I have at least energy to do some of that stuff this weekend. So, yay. I feel like I'm being semi-productive. And then I have to wrap some presents for my nibbling. But I need to finish making the thing first. So, yeah. We have some little turquoise legs. I'm making a dinosaur. I like making dinosaurs. And yeah, so yeah, basically in the lead up to Extra Life, I have a few things to do. But that's good. I'm hoping that we will get to Extra Life and we will be exceedingly peppy. Basically. I need to come up with a tentative plan. I have found some co-op games, escape roomy games that Jesse and I could do. So we will see what he thinks. We do have maybe a plan to finish off the run with some Minecraft dungeons, if anyone is interested. I don't know how big the party can be. But we've got 3 people, so, you know, if other people want to join, then that could be cool. Hi, Mr. Coolness! And then, yeah, we will be attempting a subliminal speed run, as requested by Dan. And yeah, if you do want to donate, there's a panel below, or it'll pop up occasionally in chat with a link. You feel free to suggest a game, or if you want to suggest a game in my Discord, and then donate on the day and have like a message pop up on stream, that's also cool. You also don't have to donate, but do tell your friends. We're starting at 10 PM on Friday the 4th of November UK time, which if you go to my Extra Life page and click on the actual date time, it will tell you what that time is in your local time zone, because the clocks change next weekend for the UK and not for other places, and it's just going to be confusing for a couple of weeks, I think. I think they change on Extra Life weekend for some places as well, so yeah. If you want to know the exact start time, then it's on my Extra Life page. And also in my Discord in the event. If you follow the event, that will tell you what time it will be in your time. Because Discord's clever like that. And I like that. And I'm distracted again. But yes, I need to come up with a game plan, so I have approximate things. I do want to play some Zero Escape, the 3rd game, Zero Time Dilemma. I'm thinking like a chill game and a puzzle game in between. Some story time maybe. The speed run, possibly some co-op with Jesse, and then Minecraft dungeons. So it's going to be a fairly full 24 hours, which is good. I need to try and schedule in like when will be great for breaks and caffeine, and managing that period that you get when you're just like tired and no one's up. And I'm hoping that we will get people dropping in and out all day. If you can come, please do say hi, because then the little number on my box goes up and it makes me happy because I know people are here. You don't have to chat lots, just, you know, even if you just post an emoji every so often, that would be cool. If you just want to look, then let me know. If you want to, you know, whatever, be all cool. But yes, so we are going to slot this. We're going to start a countdown. But this, to me, is what we were aiming to do in the first place. So yeah, and we have very few credits, so this is going to be interesting with what we plan to do. So I hope this will work, but we will need food. Or should we get some food first? Do we have enough credits to get some food? We've got 19. We could get mushrooms. That would give us 3 energy. And now we have 7 credits. But that's fine. So we've got energy. But actions we do sometimes give us credits and stuff. So there we go. Right, now we're more prepared because we're not starving. We are flickering. We definitely don't have enough credits to do anything about that. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. So let's go. We are ready. The worm tunnels in and starts looping data through the node. The Conway facility opens up to you. Godspeed, Fang. As you slot the worm, a thread jumps up out of the facility and it unspools in front of you, releasing its data like ink in water. Sleeper! Fang's voice crackles through. Moving in. Nodes, then ports. A whir of interference. Slot the worms. Nodes, then ports. Nodes, then ports. Timer starts now. Stay safe. The thread dissipates. You're on your own now. Nodes, then ports. Alright, okay. Alright, okay, and this is where we hope to God we have the right dice. So consec F1, this node is linked to the outer security layer. Fang must be struggling to get through. A neutral outcome. That's fine. Port located. Then we need the first layer of security, a ring of doors around the central facility, time to open them up. Because this is where we potentially get stuck because we don't have the die. So we've got plus on Feng's progress, layer unlocked, security layer F disabled. Ripperworm creates its feedback loop, overloading the security system. So we've got concept S1, more complex, 1 access port won't be enough. 5, okay, that's useful. Please be also a 5. No, you're a 2, that's okay. Both S-layer ports need to be extracted before the port will be open. Is there time? Okay. So we're just going to quickly peek back and see if there's a progress thing anywhere. Aha, hang on, service dock. Feng's progress, excellent, okay. So we've got 6 cycles to get the data. We have made 1 of 3 progress, that's fine. Okay, cool, so there is a tracker. It's okay, that's great. Okay, so we have the right die to get through here, so we will give this a 5. This is the problem with dice, you know, this is what makes it interesting. Okay. We've extracted, we've done that. And then we put a 2 in here. We get cryo as well when we do these because they're interface actions, which is good. Okay, so then we should have another, put a Ripperworm in. Slot Ripperworm. Second layer controls the convoy drones tasked with patrolling the hangars. Input a Ripperworm. I've only got 1 left. The Ripperworm fries the drones. Network link. Now they can't report anything. We've got plus on the progress. Right, so now, shit, this is where we're gonna have cycles issues. Okay, so 3 nodes to locate the final port, then Feng will be in not much time left. Well, we've literally just started. Okay, so we need a 6 or a 4 for that. Okay, 5 or a 3. Okay, how many nodes are on this layer? You've never seen such tight security before. And a 6 or a 5. Okay, this node is buried deep in the waste. This has to be the final security layer. Hold on, Feng. Okay, so we've got 3, 5. Just trying to give myself the best amount of dice. 6, 4. Okay, and then 5, 6. Okay, so giving me the chance of like 3, 4, 5, 6 on the other one, I'm going to put my thing in here. Concept times 1, x1. We're going to unlock this. It's a tiny annoying little fly. So that's 1 of them, but we need 2 and we're out of die. That's fine. We now have 22 credits, which gives us enough for a thing. So we now got 2 progress, and that's good. So 1 cycle, and we should be through. I guess it really just depends on the dice. So we'll just sleep in the dorm. So the sooner we can get our tracker disabled, the better. I know there must be multiple ways to get through this because there are so many achievements. In fact, I'll just have a quick peek. There are 27 achievements. We've got 6 of them. Ah, so if we had a spare die, okay, there's a 3 there. That is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. 1 of those will help. The 3. We unlocked concept 2, but now we need a 6 or a 4, and we have none of those. So we are going to have to pause on this and hope for better dice next time. So we have the option to we either get 3, 2, or 1 depending on the success of our thing. And if we put in a 1, rather than spending our credits, so foraging for fungus, that's gonna be risky as well. So we've got caps that way, which we do need for the mushroom guy. So we will need to do that when we've got some better dice after we finish this. Spores to study. Again, dangerous. Okay, aviary. Anything? Oh, safe. Okay, so This just gets us varying of progress with the sunlit refuge. Okay. So we can clear the overgrowth. Once a corporate garden for impressing guests with gene-tweaked birds. Now this chamber is a massive overgrowth. You can change that. Cool. Well, let's try this and see what we get. We get neutral, which is +2. Excellent. Yeah, we haven't had anything particularly that we wanted to do. I mean, there's plenty of quests we want to do. Plenty of quests we can do. That can give us energy. Whatever. Alright, okay, so all are treated equally. So neutral, we get plus energy. Excellent. Well, then I think there's like a thing we could do for work that would get us a bit of money. That is a safe action as well. Because, yeah, I mean, we've got like a whole... I know, we bought all the scrap there. So yeah, we're about nearly halfway through Maywick coming. We do, if we need emergency cash, have a ship mind that we can sell for 30. But I think we need about 80 to buy the synthetic stuff. And then at some point, we need to maybe have a look at this. Let me double check what I need for the synth stuff. 64. Okay, so, right, if we can do... So there's still, like, low-end actions that we need to do. We've got 3 for a low-ender. So we've unlocked the bar. And that gives us energy, but not currency. Oh, the delivery's back. Cool. That disappeared for a little bit. And we do need to do this. We need to do the patrol. We need to become an insider at some point. But as I said, there's so many quests, so many different things. There's still like a whole bunch of stuff. Even like up here, I think there's like a whole thing that we haven't even done yet. The hub. Yeah, I mean, we've got like socializing and manifests and stuff to unlock Weightless Wanderer, which will unlock some quests and stuff up here. There is so much to do. So much to do. So what we're going to do is... That's not the right one. This one. What we're going to do is this, which gets us a little bit of money. Yeah, 10. Excellent. So, you know, because we do at some point need the 60-something to buy ourselves a condition, because at some point we're down to dice, and that would be fewer dice, and that would be bad. So we need a 4 or 6, I think it was. Next action, that's gonna pop up. I don't want to get stuck in a cycle for that. So it's all balanced, but yeah, I can just do different storylines and different story choices next time I play. Because as I said, I think there are multiple endings, so... Excellent, that's a 6. Perfect. Alright, 3 nodes to locate the final port, then I'll be fine. Because I was like, oh, this will be fine, it's only what it... Oh, it's like, ah, shit, no, you need the right dice. So, yeah, that is a problem. Okay, slot Ripperworm, final layers controls surveillance. With this down, Feng should be able to control the facility's cameras. Plus Feng progress, all layers unlocked. The Ripperworm chews through the camera control. The moment it does, a thread shoots from the facility. The thread from the facility cuts through the cloud like a hairline crack of light. That's it, the final level of security is broken. Somewhere buried in the depths of the station, Feng is in control. He's slicing into the camera control circuits and piping out the results. The thread flickers and unravels into an image, a scene. 2 figures in a room, one sat, the other pacing. The pacing figure resolves into Harden. The unmistakable superior posture, the shock of grey hair. The second figure's features don't seem to resolve. They are vague, unformed. A problem with the data, perhaps. You look closer. And you see it. The figure is a proxy. Perhaps you should have expected it from Conway, a corporation whose very existence is owed to automation. The proxy is a machine designated to be piloted by remote control, someone elsewhere in the system puppeteering it with their own body, speaking so it might speak. The proxy sits impassively, or the Conway executive that is piloting them does, from the distant safety of some ship or orbital colony, perhaps. We can move forward, there's no doubt, Harden is saying. The reclamation teams are almost ready, and after that I'll make the declaration. Nothing has to change. The proxy leans forward, its movement stilted, uneven, as if its body was being refracted through water. But things must change, Harden. We need further assurances. I've been informed of a breach in one of the closed networks in the low end. You've been careless. Harden waves the accusation away. We have been stretched. A breach was detected, yes, but no data of value was lost. Our board is concerned, Harden. A drop in our value will be unwelcome at this time. The proxy leans back, its posture dominant. If the reclamation of AE1 is contested, then we could be drawn into a compromising legal position. Harden approaches the proxy. There will be no contest, not from Solheim, who cannot muster a defence, not from Havenage, who fall into line below me. He crouches in front of the seated figure, eye to eye. And the people of the station? Refugees, gangs, spaces, all either opportunists or degenerates. Havenage is no longer strong, no longer united. No one here believes in Erlin's vision, nor has the strength to enact it. I sat across from him at the negotiating table. He was forceful, eager, weakened by his ideological convictions, perhaps, but a great man nonetheless. This place no longer deserves to bear his name. The eye is crippled, it cannot survive. It is a ruin filled with squatters and outlaws. They'd be lucky if it still spins in a few hundred cycles. Harden stands. You will move forward with the reclamation, because otherwise you will lose your advantage in the system. Without your advantage, you will lose claims on the remaining palladium. Without the palladium, your factories will go dark. He pauses. Do I need to continue? One moment, comes the response from the proxy, and his head dropped to its chest. Harden steps back and paces once more, awaiting the discussion taking place elsewhere in the system. You watch Harden as he paces, as he considers his future. What goes on within a mind like that? In the mind of a man who would burn all those around him for a path to some imagined golden end. The proxy lifts its head. We are happy to proceed. We will legally claim the station formerly known as Solheim AE1 as salvage within 6 cycles. Havenage is to assist with the transport of the illegal residents to Conway housing and labour facilities. The proxy judders to its feet. Conway will also claim 70% of the raw output of the reclamation process after losses have been accounted for. Oh dear. Harden nods. Except. The proxy reaches out to shake his hand like a marionette, and then the recording loops. You watch it play out a second time, gripped by a horrified fascination. There's a bluntness to the conversation, to its blatant disregard for humans as anything other than objects. Things to be moved, to be used, to be fed into structure, crushed, and losses accounted for in the cells of tables, the margins of ledgers. You realise now that you are no different than anyone else on this station in the eyes of the people in that room, and those like them. Each body here can be recast as a piece of property, a tool, an expense, an acceptable loss. In one moment they can be named as citizens, celebrated, protected, and in another the very idea of citizenship can be used against them. That is what it means like to live in proximity to a system like this. No longer, not while the eye spins. You gather the recording, pack it into a polygon of purest light. Then you drift down into the service dock like a falling leaf and find the relay. It only takes a second to place that polygon of data, that recording, into the relay system Feng prepared. Hi, Dan! Not yet? There's still time. Still plenty of time for me to screw it all up. But not yet. Also, Mr. Coolness is now orange today, and Dan is pink. Everyone changing all their colours, or random colours, always throws me. But luckily the words stayed the same. But anyway, people are free to change whatever colours they want to be. I fully support that, but it always does throw me slightly. But it's very colourful on my chat thing today. Very colourful, pinks and oranges. So yes, hopefully everyone's having a good weekend. A good start to the weekend. Anyone have any interesting plans? Or, you know, not plans? You know, games that they're playing that you think I'd be interested in? Or even just tell me about games that you're playing. Feel free to chat, basically. And because I can't really chat and read, so... but I will pause to answer things as and when. It's raining today, so I might see if I can get on a quick walk after the stream, if I don't get stuck going too late. Because I get obsessed with this thing. It gets in my brain holes. I love this game. Yes, it only takes a second to place that polygon of data, that recording, into the relay system Feng prepared. And then you watch as it bursts out, a web of threads heading out into the black, to every networked device on the eye. Let them see what power makes of a man. We completed a drive. We got a bloop. Icebreaker. Correct, but toughest security system on the eye. Yes, we're on Erlen's eye. Okay, so I don't know where we go. Right, okay, so we've got disable your tracker, I guess. Wait for Feng to return for that, then. So we could upgrade something, but we also could get interface and engage up to +2s. None of those... I mean, maybe the hard to kill might be useful, but we can always upgrade that later. So we've got halfway through our cycles for that. This is now an action, but it will probably stay there. I feel like last time I did that, I shot myself in the foot. Yeah, that tracker doesn't work so well when you are going from spot to spot. Oh, hello, there's Fang. Right. Right, so we're waiting 2 cycles. Havenage in crisis. The building is chaos. Most of it in total lockdown. No one will give you a straight answer about Fang or Hardin. Okay, so we've still got this unit assembly. We could do the bar. We could get there. That gives us energy. It might be useful. Let's stick in a 6 for patrolling the ward. So, but we do have to do like 12 actions for that. But we have energy now, so it's worth it for that. Of course, I just realised that now says we could have scrap components. That would have been probably a lot safer. Late lunch and head out for a walk play. Ooh! That sounds like fun. That probably would have been a safer way to get components, but and also get some stuff at the same time, but I missed it. That was a thing. Right. Bar. We can put in a 3, makes it a 4. At the very least we get something. Oh no, we just got negative. Oops. Right, well we lost an energy. Damn, I'm annoyed. I guess we'll get some credits. Sleeper cycle and see what happens to that other action. Oh. Oh, I can't. I've got to do it. Damn. Okay. Fine. I'm really regretting starting the DLC before finishing the main story bits. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Do I have to do this? Ah, I'm sorry, Sleeper. Helen comes towards you along the walkway. But your friend must have known there was a chance this would happen. She seems unsure of how to greet you and looks nervously around. She's being held along with her ship. Release her. How many times do I have to tell you? I don't control Havenage. Ellen pinches the bridge of her nose. Cordon security has her now, and she and her ship will be held in the quarantine until it's lifted. Well, at least we got all the supplies there. If we hadn't got all the supplies, I would have felt worse about it. I'm wondering if that always fails? No, maybe not. Maybe next time we play through, we'll wait until slightly more endgame, where we've got a bit more chance of... We can re-roll die, and we've got like lots of credits, so we can get lots of things to replenish our condition. It may be like one of the quest lines unlocks free condition, which would have been helpful. But hey, we've played through the failure version of it in this time, and maybe we succeed next time. As for the quarantine, she glances at her slate. We are working on it, but the council is unlikely to budge now. Not after this. She runs the hand through her hair. This is the last thing I needed. Ellen meets your eye. She was carrying weapons, do you know that? She stares at you. We found a crate of firearms on her ship. Oh, I did kind of know that. I didn't know. Ellen eyes you. I knew she had explosives or something. Ellen eyes you. Well, it doesn't matter now. They're safely in Havenage hands. And the refugees? Nothing good. Ellen looks away. As you know, Cordon Security accepts your friends before she gets supplies through. Oh, shit. Since then, the refugees have cut off all communication. I'm worried, Sleeper, about what is happening in there, but after recent events, Cordon Security are keeping the place locked down tighter than ever. No one can get in. Meanwhile, the hardline councillors are preaching in the chambers as we speak. It's a deadlock. I don't know when it will loosen its grip. Ellen walks a little away and turns back. I wish I had better news, Sleeper, but we all knew this was coming. And the refugees suffer. Enough, Sleeper. My hands are tied. Ellen turns away. We still don't know why the flotilla came here, why they abandoned settlements and outposts throughout the system to flee to this ruined station. What little we heard from them concerning computer and life support systems collapsing in waves, machinery in flux. Ellen sucks in her breath. This isn't over. You think of the people in the flotilla. Ellen is right. People don't abandon their homes for nothing. What wave is rushing through the system, and when will it reach the eye? Ellen interrupts your thoughts. I have to go. The debates will restart soon, and I should be there. She waits for a moment, and it's unclear if she's trying to think of something to say or just waiting for you to speak. But the silence keeps you both quiet, and she walks off down the corridor, a nod the only farewell she offers. You hope that speaking to her might ease the knot of worry in your chest, but it remains there, reminding you of Eshi, of the refugees and the wait ahead. What's done is done, no matter how many times you turn it over in your head. How does it know? You get the feeling you'll be needed soon, and you must save your strength. What was it Feng told you, Erlen said? The eye opens for all of us? Not this time. For now, the eye remains closed to those that need it. A shudder runs through you. Something is coming. You can feel it. This isn't over. But Gordon. Okay, so we've got... Aha! Right. That... Oh, okay. So that was... There we go. Yeah, October. So that's the one that's coming next week. So episode Flux is completed. Thank you for playing. The episodic story of the flotilla will continue in episode Refugee, coming October 22. Right, okay, so that was like the failure route. So if I play it again, I can do the try and succeed. Hopefully being better prepared because I made better choices, or I've figured out, you know, stuff. But on the other hand, now I know that I'm not going to have that hanging over me. And we can concentrate on getting our tracker disabled and getting the Yatakan to like us and maybe building the distillery. We'll see. Okay, we've got a 6 and 2 2s. Well, we get good energy from that, and it gives us another Yatagan action. So that's useful. See, that one gets us low end And only loses a little bit cryo. We can gain cryo if we win. We've got a 50-50 chance of getting something good. Let's just go for it. Neutral. Plus low ender, minus 3 cryo. Okay, cool. Oh, hey, and we've got another drive. Build a home. Oh, cool. A derelict unit. We can make a home. Okay. Half-built unit looks long forgotten, a project that never made it. With enough scrap, you might be able to seed it up. Well, we have no scrap because we used it all. So we need to find 4 scrap. Useful. Well, there's a tithe thing there. We could lose condition. I'm thinking what we should probably do is do a quick freight action. It doesn't really get us anything particularly useful, but it's a good way to get potentially at least 10. There we go, 10. I'd say we just sell that. We could have done slightly better before, but we just sell it to get 30. We've still got a seed. So now we've got enough to buy ourselves a thing, which we will save until we've lost 3 more condition, so we don't go lower than 3 dice. Hopefully we get some good dice. This is the thing, this game is meant to be played multiple times and you get different stories. 6 and a 4, they're good. Aha, we've got a fang. That was the wrong box. Okay, so we might as well talk to him first. Fang grins at you as the bay doors slide open. Above in the rest of the building, people are busy, frightened. They speak in hushed tones and organise endless meeting after endless meeting. Havenage have avoided a full-blown crisis for now, but change is coming. Fang is in good spirits and bundles you inside before you even have the chance to greet him. Of course, because I can have multiple, I can have 3 save slots, so I can always, if there's a way to like resume it before the end choice, go back and do episode 2 if I finish the game before the new episode comes out. And then pick it up again for 3. It's a shame that it doesn't come with more achievements for the DLCs. I think if maybe episode 3 came with achievements, because it doesn't cost anything to add the achievements on, then it will bring more people back into the game. Because once you've finished it, people tend to not necessarily come back for extra story. I know I would always love it if there were new achievements. On a game when, like, even when free DLC comes out, just to get people back in. It's also a good trick for, like, Game Pass games that have gone out to bring out DLC with achievements. So people have to rebuy the game. So, you know. That's that. But I like it for good games. But I don't know. Anyway. He's in good spirits. That was the slickest operation this station has seen. He hugs you firmly. You made my job easy. He shakes you by the shoulders. I'm so proud. And, he smiles, I got to watch through the cameras as the Havenish security that weren't in on it assaulted the station. Fang smiled. One of them straight up just whacked Hardin with their pistol. It was beautiful. They have him? He's been held, yeah. He looks around. I think the idea is to use him as leverage with Conway, get them to back off. Maybe they'll exile him when they're done or hand him over to some core authority, Feng shrugs. Now I know he won't be an issue. I'm going to be focusing on systems for a bit. He shakes his hand. Seeing as that's my actual job. He points to the ceiling. The people upstairs weren't so happy, though. They've been fielding questions about the state of the eye right and left since the recording got out. People are scared. I'm not surprised. Yeah, this whole thing hasn't won me many fans of the administration, but I think in the end they'll agree that outing Hardin was worth it, whatever the methods. He touches a stack of hardware. The eye is old and was never meant to run like this. The master control points that Erlin and Havenage installed, they keep it spinning from the rim, so that isn't ideal. But if you were asking me if the eye will stop spinning next cycle, no. He smiles. And me and a ton of other skilled people will be working to stop it happening in the cycle after that. Hardin's problem was that he didn't believe in people, he believes in systems and their ability to shape the world around them.
Feng squeezes your shoulder. But as far as I'm concerned, people should be the ones running the systems, not the other way around. Anyway, Feng raps on the side of his terminal. I know you didn't come here for a lecture. My tracker. I haven't forgotten. He produces a thumbnail drive. I managed to finish that code solution I showed you. It's a modified ripperworm, one made to deactivate that tracker of yours. But in the time since I got back, I added something extra. That tracker of yours doesn't just show SNAP where you are. It transmits data about the state of your body, your current condition. My worm won't just deactivate it, it'll edit that data to tell SNAP your body is irreparably damaged. DNR, do not retrieve. He grins widely. Pretty smart, right? That's perfect. Just slot it in already. You take the drive and hold it in your hand, and then you close your eyes and open up your access ports, take down your defenses. The worm immediately enters your closed network. It whips through it, taking things with it as it goes. The moment they're gone, you forget they were ever there. They just blink out of existence. A second later, it's done. You open your eyes. How do you feel? Asks Feng nervously. Free. Feng smiles wildly. Well, you are free, sleeper. Claps you on the shoulder. Feng lets the word for free hang in the air a little before he continues. Seems like it might be finally time for a celebration. Feng wraps his arm around you. Jenna still owes us those drinks. He laughs and you join him, and later when you leave, you feel deeply thankful for having such a friend. As you walk away from the building, you look up at the wide curve of the eye, up at the hub and the other rim beyond it. The whole thing twinkles with lights, and it seems impossible to see it as anything other than breathtaking beautiful. It feels, in that moment, like something eternal. That doesn't mean it can, or even should last forever, or that it will never change, fade, or decay. It simply means that in this moment, this place has a future, and it is one that you know deeply and truly is worth protecting. Excellent. Now we have 3, so we're going to plus on... I don't know, let's have a look and see what we need. So, ooh. We've got a complete active scene, so we can't end the cycle. It's fine, we haven't used any die yet. But we've lost the harden thing. Which means I'm also going to guess that... Okay, so that could use engineer. Ethan. Yeah, Ethan is an ass. So we have to pay off his debt thing because we disabled our tracker. See what he has to say. But again, on a different playthrough, maybe I will help him and he can protect me. The compressor's almost empty when you enter. A couple of scattered patrons in the booths and a lone bartender. The bartender recognizes you immediately when you arrive and nods, and you return the greeting. You already know that you won't find Ethan here, but you had to be sure. With your tracker reporting you dead, he wouldn't have stuck around. You look at the empty stool, his empty stool, and you smile. You can imagine him on it when Slate chirps, letting him know that the target he was tracking is dead. You can imagine the screaming and the swearing, too. Is that all you were to Ethan? Another target, or was there something else going on? It seems like a foolish question to ask now when he's fled the station, but it bothers you anyway. You take one last look and walk out. You doubt you'll ever come back to this place or the memories it holds. You walk out into the lights of the bright market and allow yourself a smile. So, this is what Feng meant when he said you were free. You can get used to this. Sweet! So, we did lose out on that quest. Probably makes that like a missable achievement, but again, you know, it's like, that's kind of okay. So, now we can get on with the rest of the story. What's that? Oh, it still had the... It's fine, we just needed to go into it to make it go away. So, right. Until the next episode comes out, we've not got any more of that. So we can work on basically doing all this without any fear of being tracked or anything. So that's great. So let's have a look what we have in here. We've got engage and intuit. So, oops. Interface and engage. Okay. So if we plus 2 with our 3 upgrade points, if we plus 2 to engage, then that means that we can collect that And our 4 becomes a 6. So, 1 mechanic ties the new filtration system for the box atrium. After you help install it, he offers you some of the remaining scrap. Cool. And then that gives us energy. It's probably a good idea. You help a dentist. We got positive outcome. So cool. So that is progress. Now we've got a 1, which is less thingy, but we also have, for our derelict unit, a scrap. It means that because we've got +2 on engage, I mean, I probably wouldn't chance it with a 1. I mean, I could. Give us a 3. Okay, let's just try it. Excellent. Alright, we got scrap and a thingy. So that was definitely worth it. Oops. Oh, hello. As you say your goodbyes to the other enforcers and walk back through the low end, a chirruping catches your attention. Oh, we must have done halfway. Or a progress point to progress the story. In a quiet corridor away from the main thoroughfare, someone has stuck a small recorder to the wall with suit sealant tape. Written across the fluorescent tape is one word: sleeper. You peel it away from the wall as you do it, triggers some kind of improvised trip switch. Sleeper? Sabine's voice crackles through. I've seen you with the Yatagan members. Are they holding you captive now too? A high whine. I'm sorry if I've dragged you into this. Do not trust them. Something is happening within the gang, some kind of power struggle. You cover the speaker a little, their voice too loud in the quiet corridor. I'll come soon, thanks to your efforts. Located most of their properties. At the right time. A pause. I'll see you soon, don't give up, but remember our deal. The recording cuts out. You stare at the recording, processing what you've heard. Hearing Sabine's voice again opens up something inside you. An SNLP employee. Do they know that I know? You struggle with a mix of concern and distrust. You throw the recorder in a nearby waste chute as you leave the corridor, still unsure who to trust, and head quietly out of the low end. Indeed, who to trust. So, yeah, we got halfway. So that was useful, and we got another scrap for our apartment. Maybe we'll get a place out of this. I mean, I feel like we could settle on the station now no one's looking for us. I'm just checking down. Those are going to click down because, you know, we could buy scrap. We're not going to need ship mine bits. We're still good. We had full energy. Nice. I do love this game. I'm so intrigued by everything. Okay, we've got a 5 and 2 2s. 2 2s will get us some scraps. We've got a whole, like, shipbuilding thing as well. I mean, yeah, it's not the end of the world if I don't get it. I'm going to be playing some Backbone later, so there's a chance of I think the remaining 3 achievements in that will qualify still, no problem. But have fun on your walkies. I mean, yes, I've got at least another 2 hours scheduled, though I might have a cookie break in a little bit. We'll see. Oh, minus condition, but I got a plus insider? What? Did I read that right? One merchant throws you out onto the street shouting about parasites. You look to the other enforcers, but it's unclear if she'll face retribution. Okay, I don't know whether I got a minus condition. It looked like I would get a minus condition, but I still got a plus on the enforcer, so I guess I just didn't get scrap. Oh no, I got energy lost. Alright, in which case I should probably... My energy went down, right. Right, okay, cool, that's better. Yeah, I mean, I feel like 4 is still pretty good. It's because it's really hard to read the thin text. Positive, plus scrap, plus insider. Okay, cool. So we've got 3 actions left. We've still got 3 die. So it must have been minus energy rather than... anything else then. Excellent. Okay, so I think if we go back to sleep, it'll tell me if there's any outstanding actions anyway. Yep, one more and then we'll inject next cycle. We'll wait and check we don't accidentally damage our condition. Oh, these look good. This will get us. Should we? No, the still is going to take a little while. Let's concentrate on one blinking quest line at a time. Okay, so we can put in a 4 into that and get a guaranteed positive. And a scrap. Okay, so if we put 6 in there, patrol the ward. We help the dentist, we get good energy, and then 5 should still give us a pretty good thing, and that'll complete this quest line. Excellent. And we have other scrap, plus we got the energy for Thrill Seeker. So we've got full energy, and that is now completed. So that's a thing. Let me let me do one thing at a time. So Rabia, okay. This time you meet inside Rabia's office, although now you've seen it, office seems like the wrong term. You find her stood in an almost bare, shadowy unit, midway through a sequence of stretchers. There are 2 low stalls and a terminal in the corner, but it seems that most of the space is taken up by heavy punching bags, rubber matting, and a stack of weights. When Rabia turns to greet you, you realise she's missing an arm. Prosthetics she usually wears is set in a cradle near the terminal, a web of coloured wires running to it. Updates, she says, noticing you looking where artificial arm usually is. Nothing to worry yourself with. Of course. Sit, says Rabia, gesturing to the 2 diminutive stools. You both settle on the stools, Rabia crossing her legs on top and sitting straight backed. Gia told me I've been doing the rounds, collecting tithes, patrolling the ward. She smiles. Some of the enforcers are impressed. I hear you handled a few difficult circumstances. Nicely done. I wanted to help. And you did. She closes her eyes for a moment. I hope you can see how things work here now. Strong Yatagan means a stronger lower end. Both are woven into each other. I know that for you, life on the eye has been a struggle, but I hope we can do something about that from here on outwards. Though some of our members might not see it that way. I know you too are a refugee. She looks at you solemnly. That's why you come to us. Oh, Sabine. Oh dear. Enough, Rabia? Sabine cuts through the conversation. I'm tired of listening to your affected nobility. They cross the room, Rabia's baton in their hands, the end lit with sparkling electricity. Rabia looks between the 2 of you. I suppose this ambush was another cooperation between you 2. She looks strangely unfazed. No, they're acting alone. Sabine pauses, thrown off for a moment by your renunciation. Because she's S&R. I don't trust her. Rabia gave us, stuff and, a discount so we could stay alive, whereas Sabine disappeared and made us get data on people. So, I am untrusting of the doctor, and we did not plan an ambush. She told me she'd meet us. I didn't agree to it. So anyway, Rabia takes this opportunity to act. No worries, Mr. Coolness. Have an outstanding day yourself. Then I'll catch you next time. She leaps from the stool, fainting past Sabine, grabs the baton, twists it inwards. She's by far the stronger, and she pushes Sabine to her knees, plunging the crackling end of the baton towards their chest. They freeze there, Sabine struggling to keep the crackling baton from their skin. Stop! Then you support them? Rabia asks. You, her eyes not leaving Sabine. Your loyalty so easily swayed? No, I just don't need to kill someone in front of me. I thought you were more than Yannick's attack dog, Rabia. Sabine spits back. Are you not able to think for yourself? Rabia holds the baton strong, and for a moment you think she's about to hammer it down into Sabine's chest. But after a painful wait, she throws Sabine down instead and then spins the baton in her hand, thumbing a switch and shutting it off in a single move. Rabia, explain. They both look at you, each still catching their breath as if they'd have forgotten your presence. Explain what? How the moment I call, my enforcers will come down here and take him away? Rabia cracks the neck. You're lucky I didn't kill you. They would have had every right. Every right, she shouts, the anger a release of tension more than a threat. Sabine lifts herself a little, bruised from the fall, and they roll onto their side. Lifts themselves a little, yeah, and they cough. Rabia gives them some space, sitting back on the stool. Sabine props themselves up with their elbows and fixes Rabia with a hard stare. You have something to say? Rabia taunts. Say it, this is your final opportunity, because after this, she laughs, not coming back. What's the point? Sabine breathes heavily. She refuses to listen to the criticism of the Great Yatham project. Rabia collects herself. Speak! She folds her arms and waits to be convinced. Sabine takes a breath, organising their thoughts. They go to start, pause, then decide another approach. Eventually they say it. Yannick's a traitor. Rabia immediately flinches, her eyes going to her prosthetic arm. Yeah, how can she cross her arms if she's only got one arm on at the moment? That just was a really weird figure of speech that didn't really follow through on. Unless she somehow put her arm on as well. Rabia immediately flinches, her eyes going to her prosthetic arm, her muscles clenching, but she rides it out, more eager to prove Sabine wrong than she is to hurt them, at least for now. When I came here from Asenat, they glance at you, gauging your reaction. That was Yannick who was one of the first to support me, to look after me. I should have known then, but I was naive and afraid. Sabine turns to you. Sleeper. They take a breath. I know that I should have told you I worked for Asenat long ago, but I thought you would abandon me, and you're my final friend. What you should know is that I left Asenat because I was running for my life. I leaked documents on the sleeper program and on the illegal and immoral practices it relied on to the press. Asenat wanted me dead, and I fled as far as I could to this refuge at the edge of the surrogate systems. Sabine stops to collect themselves. What does this have to do with Yannick? Rabia interrupts. Our sleepers know you at Asenat. I told him. And when you hide behind the cover of being a whistleblower, you and I both know you worked on the sleeper program. Yannick told me as much. Sabine's face falls. That's true. They glance at you and then away, shamed. They lift their head. But it's Yannick, not me, who's in the pocket at Asenat. Rabia flinches again. I can prove it. He made some kind of deal to keep me here, to tie me up in debt, to lock me away in exchange. Rabia slams her hand on the deck. Just tell us, for God's sake. In exchange for those? Sabine finishes, nodding towards Rabia's prosthetic arm in its cradle. He's been using you, Yatahan enforcers, using you as test subjects for Asenat technology. I have the data to prove it. He's been bringing them in under the guise of stolen shipments and having me fit them, knowing each one is capturing data and sending it back to its makers. Rabia's fixed expression has started to fade. Sabine produces a slate. That's all here. Thousands of vials of usage data, failure rates, error dumps. These are untested implants, Rabia. They could short out, fail, cause cascading failures across a person's body. And they have. Sabine suddenly looks incredibly tired. I thought the error rate in the units was down to them being stolen or modified. I've tried to fix hundreds of failures in my time here. Not all of them. They stop, unable to continue. Rabia closes her eyes and breathes in, then she opens them again and holds out a hand to Sabine. Show me, she says. Later, much later, when you leave, Sabine is still taking Rabia through the manifests and usage data. Both of them crowded around the terminal as Sabine leads Rabia through each layer of Yannick's betrayal. As you leave, Sabine catches your eye and something passes between you, something like a thank you or a sorry, or some other expression that communicates both sadness and hope. Ooh. Okay. So, enemy of my enemy in 3 cycles. Rabia and Sabine have been holed up in her office for a while now. What are they planning? But what we do have is we have more scrap to finish our thingy. And then we can probably sell the other, but we might just keep it for now. A tidy pile of scrap in one corner of the unit. Next step is to use it to seal the unit. Seal unit. We need some dye for that then. So, right. With all the materials, the unit now needs sealing section by section to be usable. It's a laborious task, but the outcome is worth it. So, we've got a +1 and engage. We could lose energy if we fail. But at the end of it, we get a place to call our own in the low end, which may be massively dangerous. We've got 1 upgrade point, but again, we can't use that now. We need at least 2. So, complete. We've now got disable your tracker, work for Rabia.
But we failed on Ethan's protection, I guess, because we didn't need it. Anyway, so we've got build a home. Enter the Greenway, find Ashton, get to know Memphis, prove the Overlook. So I'm going to go with build a home as my first priority. And we are going to go sleep. No, we're going to inject the stabilizer. So we get full 5 die. Nice. Yeah, if we needed scrap. Okay, so the ship mine fragments are 32. If we'd have kept it, I suppose we could have bought 2 and then sold them for like 150. We'd still make a profit. But you know, and we could still do 16 to buy some scrap. But what we needed was the injector stuff, which we couldn't not have. So we needed to sell it at that point. We've still got to get the mushrooms. And still probably entire storylines have not even like revealed yet. I mean, you know, should we clear the aviary? Should we harvest some stuff? Mushrooms. I think for now, I just want to build my apartment. And then see what happens with Yathan. So, we've got really good things here, so we should be fine. Okay, ++2. No, neutral. Damn. Okay, fine. So I guess we could do a couple of this just to dump our ones. Actually, we get 6 for that, and we get 10 for selling data. We could hack some agents. Because we're unlikely to get anything other than a neutral. Actually, no, we get more than that. Because we get an extra data, so we get 20 for that. Yeah, this is definitely good use to get a bit of cryo. So we get extra cryo for the interface, we get 25 for a die. And we can go sell the data here. We get eyed suspiciously. But we also get enough that we can maybe afford a new bottle of thingy at some point. Okay, so there. Derelict units, so we'll put in our 6. And then hope that that gives us at least a neutral. Excellent. It was a positive, but that's fine. We've got an upgrade point and a bloop. Squatter rights. Found a place and made it yours.
This is now our thing. Oh, we have feed a stray. There's signs that a stray animal has been nosing around the unit. A handful of chits for some crackers should bring it out of hiding. Yes, we want a pet. Stray fed. Okay. You buy the crackers from a shop, unit downstairs, and crumble them up in a trap. Something moves in the shadows. Okay, so we lost 3 cryo and we fed the pets. Maybe eventually we can get... Oh! We have a kitty. We have a kitty. We have a kitty. The stray hops up onto a work surface and looks out the unit's small window. It doesn't acknowledge your presence. It just sits there beside the tray of crumbled crackers, staring out at the low end. What is this cat's story? Are there more on the station? You haven't seen another in the low end, but in this vast megastructure that means little. There could be a whole colony of cats like this one down in the Warrens. You look at its sleek dark fur and sharp eyes. It doesn't look ragged, it looks at home. In fact, its presence in the unit makes it wonder if this is the stray's apartment in which you are squatting. Approach the stray. You lean forward. You lean a little forward and the stray tenses up. Perhaps give it a moment to get used to you. The stray settles a little and starts eating, picking at the broken crackers. You don't remember ever having been close to an animal. It triggers something in you, a recognition of a life, totally unlike your own, but still somehow connected, parallel, even interwoven. The stray licks crumbs from its fur. Do you like it here? The stray flicks their tail at the sound of your voice. It's hard to imagine the stray liking anything, or at least being vulnerable enough to admit to it. But the stray's pleasure at existing here in this place shines through its every sinew. It's not that the strays are always happy on the eye, but the stray is engaged by this place. It's alive here. You turn your eyes to the window, the one that the stray looks out of, and you both watch the stars and the ships together. You feel something pass between you and the stray, a kind of acknowledgement of each other, a sense that each of you might share something with the other, a point of connection. Then all at once, the stray yawns wide and hops down from the unit and brushes along your legs. Then it's gone, out through the unit door and back out into the corridors of the low end. Oh, I hope I get to feed the stray more. I could feed the stray more. It's a repeatable action. Okay, well, we're not going to overdo it. It's already eaten today. We've still got potentially block maintenance, which could give us energy. And also plus on the low ender. I'll play Tavla. Okay. Oh, yeah, that did not work. Oops. Right, so we need energy. We need mushrooms. Now we've got some wands. Ah, yes, we want to hack the Attican agent because the wands, and then we get a decent amount of, we get 25 credits per one, which is better than a potential fail. And then that gives us enough to afford a thing. When we need it. And no, we're not going to use the container anymore. We've got a house with a cat. We've got like 4 beds now we can use. This is great. Ooh, look at that. That's excellent dye. We should feed our cat. The stray crunches up the crackers as you watch. Sometimes they'll let you stroke them, sometimes not. I'm okay with that. And we've got some rabbia stuff. Excellent. And we've got really good dye. Well, we've got some really good dye. We've got potentially 4 really good dye there. As you enter Rabia's office, you hear voices. Is that Sabine? You push open the door. Sleeper, what good timing! Rabia calls out as you enter. I want to introduce you to someone. A man is standing at the centre of the room, speaking quietly with Rabia. He turns as you come in. Yannick! Sleeper? He nods. Been hearing good things from Rabbi. He smiles an easy smile. I suppose we be polite? Good to meet you. Likewise, likewise. He waves a ringed hand. Now, Rabbi, where were we? Actually, Rabia places a hand on your shoulder, the sleeper was what I wanted to talk to you about. She doesn't spare you a look. What's going on? Well, okay then. Yannick tucks his hands in his pockets. Go on. I'd like to recommend them to your ward. A tiny pause. They've shown themselves to be a capable ally here on the spook side. We've got more than enough to run our territories. I hear the main block is proving more difficult. Yannick leans forward slowly. It's a mess, Rabbi. He waits, his tinted glasses shimmering despite the lack of light in the unit. I can use them, he suddenly decides. Rabia smiles. Good to hear, I can immediately. Yannick cuts her off with a raised hand. 1 second. He steps one surprisingly light step closer to you. You eager to work, sleeper? Yes. Yannick nods his head as if listening to music. Okay then. He was suddenly unsure if he's talking to you. That concludes it, Yannick pronounces. Sleeper can come work in the ward any time they like. You shoot Rabia a confused look. Rabia finally glances at you for a moment, but it's so fast you almost miss it. Good, I knew you'd be happy with their work, Jan. Yannick reaches out and squeezes her shoulder. Sure, Rabbi, he says. Now please, he said, turning to face you, let us old friends get back to it. You look to Rabia, but she's deep in conversation and so stunned and confused you leave. There's obviously a plan here. We get work in the ward and we feed stuff back. You know, we try and find out a plan. And now we have Yannick's ward, okay? Which has patrol the block to gain his trust. Okay. So we have expose Yannick. We need to gain his trust first. We also got to track Ashton. Right, so we've got our house. So now we need to figure out what we're doing next. Whether it's mushrooms or what. Maybe I should finish gaining the low end thing. So let's put a 5 in here. So we've got a guaranteed success with +2. Right. That finishes that quest, which unlocks Caster. Curious data fence. Okay. You cross between 2 walls of units, one of the cavernous streets at the centre of the low end. The pressurised bridge is full of the clack of Tavla, the shouts of children and the whir of air filters. Sleeper! You turn to see a man sitting at a Tavla table alone, somehow untouched by the hustle and bustle of the people around. He gestures to the stool on the opposite side of the table. Sit! Sit. He sits at the metal stool and he starts setting out the board with counters, or at least the filter caps low-enders typically use in their place. Caster, he says by way of introduction, looking over his glasses. It's your day, he asks, gesturing at the caps crudely splayed black or white. Right. He nods, the black counters are already on your side. Let's begin. You take a plastic die each, pitted and worn, and roll to determine who starts. Caster rolls a 6. You are 4. I lead. He smiles and begins to move his first cap precisely across the board, along the board. Play passes back and forth between you. The dice changing hands as the caps spread along the board. As it does, Caster speaks, eyes not leaving the caps. It's unusual to see a sleeper in the eye. That's why I wanted to play you. You take your turn, rolling a 5 and a 6. We'll play carefully. After all, a sleeper's mind must be somehow different to a human one, being emulated, I mean. As Caster talks, you build up a wall of caps, stacking them safely across the board. Progress is slow, but you remain unexposed. I don't mean to offend you, Caster meets your eyes. I merely see that you are, by definition, different. What has been subtracted in the emulation, what has been added? He slides a single cap onto an open point, a risk and an opportunity. He hands you the dice. Do you ever think about this, Sleeper, about what you were before and what you are now? Always. You roll a double 1 and solidify your wall. Caster whistles. The holding game. Commendable. It can be brief to build from what came before. He rolls the dice and leaps your wall in a single move. You cannot idle too long, Sleeper. The slower we move, the sooner we are caught. The past for you is not just an idea, a concept. For you, it is a living, breathing person. He looks up over his glasses, his eyes bright and wide. You split from them like a shadow splitting from its caster. They may be sleeping now, yes, but one day they will awake and carry on with their lives, unaware of your fate. No better worry, maybe. He hands you the dice, smiling. A branch severed from the main trunk, an offshoot who refuses to die, so to speak. You roll again, under pressure now, trying to slip your caps out from under Castor's before he solidifies control of the game. So what I'm curious about this is how you see yourself in all of this, Castor asks. Does this tangle of truths make you free? Yes. Castor looks away through the glass of the crowded units on all sides. I can see that. Your life as an escapee was never meant to happen. Yet here we are. He starts removing caps, his home board now full. Your life is an offshoot. It can go anywhere from here. You try a few more rolls, attempting to get back in the game, but Castor clears the home board with a sense of the inevitable. He has known he was winning for a while. I feel I might have pushed too far. He slides another cap from the board. I apologise. Curiosity has a habit of getting the better of me. He rolls to return a cap to the board, but all the spaces are blocked. Castor claps his hands apologetically. Well, really, your weakness is not your game. He smiles warmly. We've much to learn from each other. He slides his glasses back up his nose and sits back. I feel we could share knowledge, ideas, perhaps even data. His eyes glint with that last word. To a mutual benefit. He slides the final cap from the board. It is over. He's won. Ozzy? Please, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. He holds up his palms. Tension is only to help you endure here. And if I am able, feed my curiosities. The game over, you notice the bustle of the walkway once more. The call of the children, the deliveries, the arguments and reconciliations. They wash over you as you stand and leave. Castor nodding goodbye as you do. Crossing the walkway, you replay the moves of the game in your mind, looking for an opening you were sure was there. Cool. So we've got Castor's table. What did that get us? The story's about getting kind of brutal, but I want the truth. Right. Oh, wait. Okay, so 5 data for a stabilizer. Well, I've got a 1. I can get some data. And then, what did the old guard up to? I have a ship mind for you, if you'll indulge my curiosity. Okay, so that is 5 data, which is 50. Ship mind, which I can sell for more. Okay, so, you know, any lower die, if I go and get data, I can give it to Castor. That's cool. Okay, so. I feel like I should bring back caps. But also, I've got some decent... Do I buy some scrap? I can't sell scrap for much, but if I get something else, like ship mines, then it's good, but can I get ship mines? And then... I've also still got this unit assembly thing. Obviously, I'm going to be a junior tech. Doi. 2 upgrade points. 1 more will get me 2 more on my thing. So, should I maybe get to know Emphas? Because I feel like that's fairly... Or should I help rebuild the bar? I'm going to help rebuild the bar first. Okay, because I think I'm probably... No, I'm nowhere close to finishing it. But I've got 2 6s I'll plonk in for a decent thingy. So that's halfway done. I have a scrap, but I might need it for something. I've got no need to exchange it right now. So... We'll get us some data and an extra credit thing, because this will basically get us 50 for, I don't know whether it's a repeatable action, but certainly, you know, it's worth it that way. And then we'll have an extra data which we can sell anyway. So, next one gets us down to 4 die, but that's still okay. No, we've got our apartment. Stop sleeping in the bloody container. No. End the cycle. We'll feed the stray in the morning. I might have a quick break to get a cookie and some tea. Ooh, those are really, really good dice. Okay, so I'm going to have a quick break, run an ad, get some tea. Feel free to stretch, etc. Well, you know, it's a good time to stretch because you're not missing anything. I'm back. Can I have a cookie? Cookie. I have a cookie in between story bits. Okay, so we've got really good die. Anyone remember what it said? I said I was going to do. We need 1s or 3s for your hand, so we can't do that. Help set up the distillery. See, I did the quest thing, so now I'm less confused. And we are starving, so we should probably make sure we eat as well. Build the still. So got all good actions, or at least I hope so. He said something about building a kitchen as well. So Tala comes to help you for a bit and chats to you about her plans for the Overlook. Second pair of hands makes the work go easier. Tala stands back from the newly finished tub, still in tub, hands on hips. Look at this! She grins. The Overlook Distillery in all its glory. She squeezes you around the shoulders. Thank you. What next? What's an issue? Tell me. Well, Gerald the drink, as you probably guessed, as named after Gerald the mushrooms. That's what gives it that golden colour and earthy taste. The alcohol is infused with the mushrooms along with a mix of spices. That means you need Gerald caps to make Gerald, but no one wants to supply us. Distilleries on the Greenway are taking all the stocks from the farm out there, so it's hard to get a single cap across Founder's Gap. However, I have an idea. She smiles. We can grow our own Gerald caps here. She gestures at the increasing equipment-filled back room. I can bring you mushrooms. Tala gives you a pitying look. It's your vision. Any outside supplier means they take a cut. Okay, maybe not you, but someone somewhere takes a cut. Tala puts a hand on the still. We made a still. We set all this up. How hard can being grown mushrooms be? They don't need light. They barely need soil. We can do this. She pauses. At least you could if we had something to grow them from. Like spores. Exactly. Suddenly you feel like you've walked into a trap. And you are the perfect person to get me those spores. She nods rapidly. Think about it. You built the still. You're great with prance. You know the art at the back of your hand. Need I go on? Are you flattering me? If it's working, then yes. She grinned sheepishly. Look, I can't leave the bar and the other people picking up shifts. She grimaces. I'm saying it has to be you. Fine. But over on the Greenway, I think. All that fresh air, open space. She sees your expression. Okay, I'm done. She turns back to look at the still and the fledgling distillery forming around it. It really is something, isn't it? To agree. And want to or not, you really have to agree. Okay, so we need 3 spores. Okay. Now we need spores for 2 things, which means we definitely need to go to the mushroom place. We also need food. Okay. Need energy. I feel like that is better than anything else. We're at a 4. Gives us a 5. Yay. You find a chamber thick with pale particles. You gather as many as you can, unsure what species or types might be in the mix. Cool. And now we need to bring some to this person as well. They also need 3. So we get 6. We can do both. But we'll do the
still first, because it may give us a decent source of food. Don't think we fed the cat. And I'm going to keep feeding the cat just in case something happens, but also I like having a cat. Okay, so we'll be still 4 die. Cookie! I think we'll feed the cat before bedtime. It's easier to remember. That's a good die. Excellent. Right, so we can do this part. That's so cute, says Tallow, looking at the container of spores. Her excitement is infectious. She wants to set up a mushroom farm. Mushroom farm will make the back room of the overlook into a miniature girole factory. To be fair, we might also get some mushrooms from it ourselves, which might be easier than harvesting it from the wild. I don't know. Got enough spores now. Aha! Now we have to wait. That's fine. She needs spores to study. Rico is grateful for the contribution. Sleepy, you warm my heart with each delivery. Thank you. Oh, I also seen there's a 3. We can use that to get some Yatan data. Excellent. Right. The crumbs out the way. So I had 1 cookie left from my last delivery. They keep really well, the shortbread ones. And I was just like, I'm just feeling a bit peckish. Sleeper. Rico greets you without so much looking up from her work. I have some of yours here. Come see. She beckons you over to a heavyweight-looking console, wired to a series of specimen jars, some of which contain your spores. What does it say? The spores you have here are a real cocktail, a selection of types from within the groves, but I've been able to isolate a few. She taps one of the specimen jars. Here we have Tricolomia matsuke. Rico breezes through the Latin and Japanese pronunciation as if it were nothing. A species Sonheim somehow modified for use on the station. She brings up a panel on a console showing her chemical composition, all gradiented bars and obtuse acronyms. This is the composition of the Sonheim modified Tsuki spores. Modified? Yes, every species on the eye is a tweaked variant of Sonheim's, of course, but that's not the point. Rico
Brings up another panel identical in layout, but with wildly different colours and numbers. You see, this is what your Matsuki spores look like. They aren't the same? That's the conclusion, yes. Riko glances at the specimen jar as if it might have something to add. They are fundamentally the same spores, but they carry different chemicals, different signals. She leans back and sighs. Sonheim might have introduced their own tweaked versions in the beginning, but the groves have and still are affecting them. Affecting them how? It's hard to tell without samples of fully grown mushrooms, if you meet your eye, and therein lies our problem. She moves to another desk where two trays sit side by side. The first contains nothing but plant mulch, the second you smell before you even look at it, the pungent aroma of the fruiting Matsuki like rotten sodding overalls laced with an edge of spice. Ew. The Matsuki here are grown from Sonheim stocks, pulled from a spore vault in this complex. She winks. And they are delicious, by the way. She sets them aside. The empty tray is germinated with the spores you collected. No activity, no germination, nothing. But the groves are full. Yes, they are. Riko looks at you directly, and you suddenly realise how much she's enjoying this. So here is our puzzle. Sleeper, spores from the groves won't grow in the lab. Okay. But gathering fruiting bodies from the groves is too unpredictable. We need to grow a fruiting body from some of these spores so we can track it. Understand it, in short. I need you to become my mushroom farmer. Actually, I already started. Riko looks impressed. Well, an egomycologist. I'd never have guessed. I assume you set yourself up in the aviary. Been eyeing that place for its proximity to the groves. Well, technically I haven't, but I plan to. Bring me whatever grows, not just Matsuki. There's more than a couple of variants in there, so I'll need plenty of samples. She plucks a Matsuki cap from the tray. These little things are reflections of their conditions, their smell, their taste, their chemistry. It all derives from the conditions of their growth. She smells the cap. Enough of these and we'll have a picture of what's happening in here, the ways in which this biosphere is modifying itself or being modified, whichever the case may be. Riko pops the Matsuki cap in her mouth, taking you by surprise. And don't worry, Sleeper, she says while softly chewing. If this turns out to be a dead end, I'll make sure that not a single mushroom will go to waste. Okay. So, needs Matsuki samples and Girol samples. But before we do that, we would want to... So we can still collect spores. We can get Girol caps there by foraging. But let's start clearing out the aviary. Three. Okay, and then what we're going to do is go back and use our 3 to get Suki data, Yatagan data to get a sampley thing. Stories are brutal. I want the truth. That's enough for now, Sleeper. I have other things to attend to. We got a stabilizer. Excellent. I want Havenage ones next, but I think Havenage requires 2s and 4s. 2s and 3s. Yeah, okay. 2s and 3s for that. Okay, 2 upgrade points still. Right, okay, cool. Go back to our house, feed our cats. If you buy the crackers and put them out, the stray will always come. That doesn't mean they like you, though. They are a cat, after all. Ooh, look at that. We are starving. Yeah, we only had 1 chance at that. That's fine. Positive outcome. I feel like it's a waste using a 5 on that. Let's forage for some fungus. Deep in Event Core, you find the amber caps of Girolles. In this micro-ecosystem, they are protected from other stranger growth. But yeah, we might get a side of mushrooms from that. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. We need one more Girolle cap to do that fricassee. And I think one of these, that one, we can export Matsuki. If and when we have more than we need for the quests. Okay, it's less frantic than we were yesterday. Thursday. Right. Oh, we'll use a 1. At the very least we get 1, even if it's a failure, you see. A neutron, there we go. And then we've got a 2 and a 3 to get Havana data, and a 6 for, you know, something else maybe. Aviary. Germinate spore. Oh, right, so we do need spores, okay. So we need to collect some spores. Okay, so what we should probably do is get some spores. And get some data for Castor. You extract spores from a sample, print, and mix with water, then inject them into the prepared mulch. It's precise work. The old growth of the aviary has created a rich medium in which you can place the spores from the groves. They'll grow well here. Yep. I think it's the best value for energy there. We're down to 3 dice, but it's okay. No, don't do that. Until we can clear up a couple of the drives, you know. We've got lots of action on. Ooh, those are really not great.
me see if we... No, we don't have into it. You have to get a +2. Need another spore, another mushroom. Or we could wait and do something else. So... we can use the 2. Get the ship mind to get some credits, and then we don't have to keep worrying. It would have been easier to unlock later. Earlier for the ship mind, so we didn't have to buy the ship mind. So it's good to know these things if I can remember it for next time. I appreciate what you presented, but I have nothing more to offer. Okay. So that was just a way of getting a pill and a ship mind. Whether we might need a ship mind, I'm going to keep that for now just in case. I'm sure there's a lot of blocks, you know. Ah, okay. So danger, repeatable action. But we've got a +2, so that would be 5s. Okay, the massive block at the centre of the low end is made up of layers and layers of units. Patrolling this vertical city is a challenge, but we've got 5, so let's try. Positive, yes. Factories, restaurants, surgeries, schools, the layers of the block are rich with stories and problems to solve. You're starting to learn them all. Because we need higher for the mushrooms, really. Ooh, okay, minus an energy. But ++, a brokered peace between 2 merchants, a theft between neighbours, a broken promise. The block is exhausting. You know, we're not always going to get the greatest of answers, but yeah, okay. I sort of want to wait and see if we get a mushroom out of this, and we've only got 3 more actions. Plus, we might end up growing our own, so I don't want to waste any more time harvesting if we don't have to. And we'll save data in case we need it. We're just going to save stuff in case we need it right now. So we don't need anything particular. I honestly don't know if feeding the stray repeatedly is going to make any difference, but it's a cat. At least it gets fed once a day. Cool. Okay, we've got a 5. No need to inject the stabilizer yet. The 5 will help us get some spores. Which we put in the aviary. We might need to replenish with spores, so, you know. The spores are settled, now you need to wait for the blooms to emerge. The moist corners of the aviary make the perfect beds for the spores. Once they are filled, they can be left to grow. So, 4 cycles. They need time to germinate and spread to the aviary. The indirect sun, a few cycles should help them along. Okay, so we can't really do much else there. They want samples, and I'm not giving them my actual mushrooms. Still have to look for tracks there. And that's just a work assignment, which gives me energy. That gives me energy irrespective of anything else. So maybe I use my 1 there. It doesn't matter what you have. Failure or success, you get 2 energy. You're assigned work in the dorms, cleaning and repairing. Isn't the best work, but the meal at the end is welcoming when it arrives. So you always get 2 energy there. That's useful to know. Plus, that's a +2 because it's an engage. So my 1 becomes a 3, so it's even not that bad. So, we'll go back and do some of the Yatahan action for Yannick with our 3, which becomes a 5. Okay, so I minused an energy, but I still got enough. It was a neutral. It's fine. I don't think Caster's going to give me anything else yet. It might in a few cycles. I don't know. Yeah, so we're basically mushrooming and doing a couple of odd tasks on this bit. And now we're waiting for mushrooms to grow, so... Good, good, good. So yeah, improve the outlet, we're waiting for the batch to be ready. Experiments, we're waiting for the batch to be ready. Growing mushrooms, we're waiting for it to be ready. And we're waiting for mushrooms to be ready. Basically, we're waiting for mushrooms to be ready, and then we need to find somewhere we can grow a seed. I wonder if that's opened up yet. Right, so we've got one more before that is a thing. We're leaving that chip stuff for now. Alt exchange thing, fabricator, mushroom guy, tea house is basically sell data or play some tie, but that gets us a decent amount of cryo, but it's you need a decent dye, so it's not necessarily worth it. We can get energy from manufacturing noodles, at least one, but need a dye. And then we've got the ward, we need to get 5 more segments. So, you know, at least 2 extra successes would be great. Yeah, so Caster's given us all we can, but that's great because it was good stuff. That one does an achievement for stealing shipments. I don't think I want to do that one way. And then there's still the entire hub. And then we can get rid of excess stuff there if we need to. Okay, so there's nothing yet on the farms that seem to be anything. I don't want to steal food. Stealing food seems mean. Don't need spores right now. That's growing. When they've grown, we should be able to harvest something and then do something in the lab. I don't know. Alright, 15 bodies. We need like 12, I think. That's a 12 action. And then that's just self-sustaining, so we could use up a dye, but I'm not going to. I'm probably gonna buy the mushroom guy again. So yeah, we could start tracking. That seems like a not great use of time right now. So we do the expose Yannick. Oh yeah, we were looking and I didn't see any yellow. No, grab it. The whole point was I was supposed to find a nurturing grow bed for the seed. I don't know if that's unlocked yet. Ah, we need lab. So we need to fruit the bodies first. Okay. It's useful to know. It's a many progress thing. So we may as well, you know, expose Yannick. We'll keep the 6, we don't need it. Excellent. Yannick is a strange character, but he seems to understand the value of hard work. You'll gain his trust with time. You almost laugh when you see it. Same small recorder stuck to a different wall this time. Written across the fluorescent tape is that familiar word. It's Leaper. You grab it quickly. Rabia says sorry. Sabine sparks up once again. She said she didn't have time to brief you before setting you up with the old man. I'm sure you got the play by now. Earn his trust, work the block, and then we need you to get into his office. A pause. That's risky, but obviously the only one of us. He doesn't already know. Either way, we need to locate the link to Essenart. You hear a shout in the background of the recording. Rabia says be careful.
Sabine continues. The data suggests there's some relay processing the implant data and sending it to Essenat, but we can't lock down its position. Either he's moving it or he's moving it itself, or it's rerouting through other relays, so we can't understand it. Maybe you can find some details on it at his office. Once he trusts you, you should be able to get close enough to get into the office. You'll only get one shot. We've got a 6. This is brilliant strategy here. The recording creaks and whines. That's the final piece of the puzzle to end this. Pause. Good luck, sleeper. I'm sorry to. Be safe. The recording clicks softly, leaving you in silent. You pocket the recorder just in case and walk away. Looks like it's up to you. So, the main thing that I'm getting from this is my perfect ending for this particular character is clean up all the shit in the eye, get the, gardens producing extra food and potentially oxygen, clean up all the bad corrupted people, and then live here. We have a cat. It's great. So, we have an Intuit danger one-time thing. And we have a 6. So we've got a critical success here, basically. I think there's no way of it not being a critical success. So that's brilliant. So, find the relay. Yannick's asked you to collect his medicine from his office. Now is the chance to find that Essenat. Relay. You spot the countermeasure on the drawer moments before you touch it. This has to be it, but you can't rush it. You look at the countermeasure on the drawer. It looks like some kind of shock trap. If you grab that drawer, you'd likely have thousands of volts running through your system right now. You wince. As you find the anchor points, it comes away easily enough. You prise it from the drawer quickly and quietly, then listen for footsteps in the outside corridor. The corridor outside. Which may be an inside corridor. Nothing. All clear for now. You slide the drawer open, looking for other countermeasures that might be inside, expecting to see a chunk of tech, the relay, but as you slip it open, all you see is a handful of wires and an empty implant cradle. Is this some kind of mistake? You freeze for a moment, unsure what to do next. Why keep an implant cradle so carefully guarded? You remember Yannick having an implant. A small plate on the side of his head, just above his ear. You assumed it was for hearing or vision. Those shimmering glasses of his come back to you in your memory. His strange movement. And his speech. You look again at the cradle, and there it is, printed on the frame. Proprietary technology, property of Essenat. Rabia said the relay moved, that they couldn't get a fix on it. What if Yannick was the relay? The thought hits you like a shock. Yannick, with a remote relay implanted in his head, networked into every single implanted enforcer in the low end. Shudder runs through you. Was he even in control, or has Essenat wormed its way into the man? Could he even be considered separate from the corporation itself? You think of your own legal status as proprietary technology. A puppet with cut strings. Time to cut Yannick's strings, then. You reach around inside the cradle and find it. A remote connection, a tiny bead of a transmitter lightly controlling the link to Essenat. There it is. You pause for a moment, then you squeeze it, snap it from the frame, and it crumples, sparks, and dies. It takes a moment before the shouts come, before the scream, and you are already on your way out, down the corridor, down through the unit that serves as the lobby to Yannick's office. Then onto the walkway where Yannick lies still, enforcers gathered around him, amused. We're totally approaching. You push through the crowd, and there he is, crumpled. You arrange him a little, lie him down properly, feeling how thin his body is under his suit. You wonder how long he's been like this, a puppet for Essenat. With the connection cut, nothing remains but his body, which means that Yannick the man was gone a long time before now. And that's kind of sad. You place a hand on his chest. You're sorry for him, but it's done now, and you did not kill this man. You've seen enough. The connection is cut, and whatever Yannick was, or had become, is gone. Your anger is a hard core in your chest, and all of it is focused on Essenat. That's really sad. Ooh, bloop! Remote control. Stopped at this signal. Okay, so now we have the aftermath in 4 thingies. Okay, so let's go back to mushrooms. We've got one more cycle before the mushrooms are ready. Excellent. I mean, we're out of thingy. Energy, we've got just enough for one more cycle. We've still got plenty of cycles on there. So we don't need to get any food. Got one of each data, which would give us like 20 if we needed it. But we've got enough money at the moment for food. We've also got a pill, which we will do after the next cycle. And some bits and parts and things. Cool! Alright, I feel like this is a lot less frantic than we were yesterday. I keep saying yesterday, I mean Thursday. Mind you, it always feels like yesterday. Right, so one more and then we'll do stabilizer before the next sleep. We do need to get some because we're starving. Okay, so we should. There we go, Tala. Tala comes to you one shift when the bar is empty, tapping you on the shoulder as you clean the bar. It's ready! She's grinning from ear to ear. Can I try? Obviously. She grabs you by the arm before you can ask anything else and drags you into the back room. The smell hits you immediately when you enter, a cocktail of rich fermentation and chemical sharpness. The room is warm and bright now, the newly installed lights making the place look clean, where there is or not. Tala's already pulled up a couple of stools around a metal crate where 2 glasses with a few fingers of pale girol sit inside waiting. So obviously she was able to grow the mushrooms. That's interesting. Oops. She smiles. I haven't tried it yet. You can see she's nervous. You both sit at the makeshift table, the slight strangeness of the situation making you both jumpy. Tala hands you a glass. Cheers, she says solemnly, and knocks the glass back. You do the same. The first sensation is burning, a sharp, nose-clearing blast of alcohol that has your frame querying whether you would like to activate safe mode. You gulp the drink back, and it's only then, behind the burn, that you taste the earthy tones of the mushrooms, the wood, the soil left behind by the like sediment barely there. That's strong. Yeah, Tala nods vigorously. That was heavy. Has promise, though. You think? She swirls the glass and puts it down. Wait, I have an idea. Tala grabs a metal bottle from the newly installed work surface and adds a few drops of water into the girol. Try again? This time the burn is a warming glow, harsh but fading off, and the woodiness less heavy. You taste something floral in amongst the marshy decay, something fresh and bright you never expected to find. Both you and Tala meet eyes. It's really good, right? It is. Tala grins with a whole face, and that makes you smile too. Tala pulls out some more girol and then adds some more water. The action's already taking on the quality of a ritual. You both drink. Tala tucks her feet up beneath her on the stool, folding her legs. She looks down into her glass and swirls the liquid thoughtfully. What's on your mind? Tala looks up. Nothing in particular. My father opened this place, you know, she says out of nowhere, a thought suddenly becoming words. It was his attempt at making a life for us, for my family, when we got to the Eye. Your family? My father, my mother, my little brother. She takes a drink. They aren't around now. I'm sorry. That's okay. My parents had long lives, and my brother is somewhere in the starboard belt. Ran off with a salvage crew. She puts her glasses down. He's alive as far as I know. I was just thinking about something my father told me. When he first set this place up, he wanted to call it the Bantayan, but he was afraid it'd scare off the customers, so he kind of translated it, hence the Overlook. And these past few cycles when I've been in here, I've been thinking that I should rename the place. She looks at you. The Bantayan, what do you think? I love it. She looks away. Me too. Tala picks up her glass. That settles it then. To the Bantayan. I mean, I can't say it either which way, so there we go. You both clink your glasses and drink up. Tala hisses through her teeth. Still hush, she laughs and suddenly grabs your shoulders. Oh, sleeper, I totally forgot. She stumbles to her feet. She lurches over to a corner of the room covered with plastic sheet and whips it off like a magician performing a trick. Beneath it is a neat little kitchen, a sink, a work surface, and a compact oven with a hob. Your kitchen! She doesn't give you time to respond. You can come make stuff here anytime as long as you promise not to raid the mushroom farm. I need those for the girol. I was thinking too that if things pick up we can start serving proper food at the Overlook. I mean the Bantayan. She laughs. Do you like it? It's perfect. Tala gives you a hug and then quickly stands back. I'm sorry, I'm just so glad you're here, she grins. Me too. As Tala tidies away the glasses, you inspect the kitchen, checking that it all works. It's small and salvaged, but after what you've had to put up with, it feels like a dream come true. Later, when she's done for the day, Tala comes back through to the bar and you share a glass of the good girol, the one she didn't distill. And this time you talk about nothing in particular, sharing stories about regulars or discussing the best place to eat on the Eye, which after everything that's happened feels like a nice change of pace. When it comes time to leave, you promise to cook for Tala and agree to let her know which shifts you'll be working in the coming cycles, and then slip out into the cool of the rotunda. In this moment, you feel, for once, at home. I like that. And we got a drive complete. And free spirits. Helped a friend distill their future. So, we now have a kitchen which we can cook our mushrooms. Okay. So, we can cook Matsuki crabs. You need one of those. They require a softer touch. You've learned to thinly slice and lightly fry them to keep their flavour. And with the Girol caps, you haven't exactly mastered the art of cooking mushrooms, but a couple of handfuls of fried Girols always beats expired rations. And then we still got the bar shift, which doesn't give us much. But we now have 3, so we may as well get our interface up. So then we need 2. I need to pick which one we're going, and I'm guessing into it based off previous actions. Though, maybe what do we need for this? Oh no, interface is good for that. That gets us money. Okay, so we need to start working at that at some point. Are we ready to do that yet? Do we need something as a distraction? So the bar's ready and we can cook mushrooms ourselves. We're good on energy for now, which is great. So we've got to wait for that. We'll do those stuffs up there in a bit, because yeah, I can only really concentrate on doing a couple of quests at once. We've still got 2 before we get our own mushrooms. We've still got to find that dude. And we could just harvest a mushroom, but it's almost wasting a dice. Let's see. Wait till our mushrooms mature. We haven't started that quest yet. I think we started the one. Oh. Hang on a minute. Where'd my office go? Shit. It's a... Ooh. The doctor's office is gone. Haha! It's a good thing I got the thing, but also... shit. We've got 3 cycles. Okay, so we've got 1 pill. And then, well, I suppose, you know, we could be pushing it, but... It's fine. I think we started the thing up here. Let's see what we get up here when we've unlocked this. Because we've got +2 on both of these. So we've got 2 excellently successive things. So +2. We could try some socializing. We could do 1 of each. So the hub is thronging with spaces from across the surrogate systems. They can be a prickly bunch, but they know the place well. Somehow you end up on a fraction drive freighter for a long-awaited reunion between 2 spacer crews. The knowledge is invaluable. I didn't see what else we got. Maybe we got some cryo. I don't know. And then this one. The stacked bays house a flow of incoming and outgoing ships. The digital manifest will help you get your head around this place. Wait, that just gave us plus. Plus we got the intercept. Okay, cool. Start to draw connections from manifest to manifest, noting the patterns and flows. There's something beautiful in the chaos. Okay, so yeah, I mean 1 more mid. We could chance it with a 1. I'd rather lose cryo than energy. No, I'd rather lose energy at this point. True. Excellent. So we have now unlocked Weightless Wanderer. Up here there's no gravity, so even just moving around takes a while to get used to, let alone navigating the bays. But now we have met Bliss. Excellent. We've got Kishu capsules. We could rent a capsule. So, only place to sleep on the hub, act of a colony ship and worlds to the ring. That's surprisingly expensive to rent. Then why would we do that? I just want to look at the lounge. Gimbal lounge. Buy a spacer meal. The gimbal sells itself on its spinning sphere, which claims to produce therapeutic gravitational effects. It doesn't, but they sell food. Okay. Cool. Right, so let's talk to Bliss. Excellent, we unlocked another person. Ship mechanical hub. Bliss looks cool. No way, Moritz! You take those substandard filters back to the shithills who sold you them. You hear the voice echoing out of the bay as you pass, and moments later someone who you assume is Moritz drifts out with it, dragging a pallet of filter cartridges by a tether. "Hey, you out there!" The same voice echoes out of the entrance. "Looking for work?" "Yes." "Just need a hand. Get in here." The voice is coming from someone shorter than you expected. She's floating in the microgravity of the docking bay beside a half-deconstructed life support unit that looks like it might have exploded at some point. She points a wrench in your direction. "You know anything about these things?" She doesn't wait for an answer. "Scratch that, just help me with the casing." "Help her." "All right then." She deftly moves around the unit, making space for you beside the central seam in a dented case. "Just take a grip here and lift out and up, and then I can get in and unbolt it." She whacks the unit with a wrench. "Whole thing's twisted to shit." You dig your fingers under the casing and lift it away, the metal squealing from the force. She puts her hands under, spinning the wrench to slip out the bolts, catching them in her other hand when they spiral free. The casing lifts off, revealing the ornate piping of the unit's interior. She whistles at the mess of ducts and filters. "By the way, everyone calls me Bliss." She pats you on the shoulder, offering little in the way of explanation. "What do you do here?" "Repairs, fit-ups, tear-downs." Bliss starts pushing and pulling at the ductwork, looking for fractured pipes. "We haggle for contracts, but the good ones get snapped up quick by the bigger bays, so here I'm trying to get this M2 unit running again for one of the freelance tugs. It's full-time stuff." "Hold this." She rips out a ribbed pipe and hands it to you like a freshly caught fish. "We turn stuff around fast and neat, and maybe we'll get a chance at landing something bigger." Something starts hissing in the unit, and Bliss quietens it with a precise whack. "But to be honest with you, the way things are going, I could already see the other crews licking their lips, ready to take this place over." She looks up at you. "I'm almost out of luck." Offered to help. "I appreciate it. Let me finish before you jump, though." She keeps working, twisting aside pipes with care. "We are." Bliss pulls her hands from deep inside the unit, and out it comes, clutching a lumpen cube scorched black. "This thing must have overloaded and popped half of itself out the side." You both look down to the side of the unit and spot the exit wound. The edge is fringed with more scorch marks. "Grab me a replacement converter from the racks, will you?" Head to the rack. You kick off from the unit and drift over to the wall racks, where a catalogue of parts sits secured in clamps. Coloured tape and scrawled notes flutter across the wall, a complex organisational system of Bliss's own design. You try to pick out the right part. M2 converter, right? Yeah. You grab the part and push back to the unit. Bliss holds out an arm and you pass it over, the converter spinning gently as it leaves your hand. "Perfect, you passed." She straightens up from the unit. "That is if you want to work here." Bliss rubs her hands clean, looking down at her palms. "Truth is, I need a hand here. My partner skipped out on me and left me the whole mess. You seem like you at least might be better at spotting in a clean air filter than Moritz." "Be happy to." "Wait," she frowns at the rack. "It's not all of it. My old business partner, they rinse the place, empty the accounts to bid for jobs we need to put down deposits, bring in parts, pay tug fees. For that," she looks nervous, "we need chits." "An investment?" "Exactly. Partners. Straight split." Bliss settles herself. I've got 45. We'll see what we need. Bliss settles herself against the unit and looks off into the distance. "I guess I look pretty stupid. Here I am asking any random passerby to be my business partner. No offence." She manages a smile. "I get it." "Thanks." She meets your eye. "I appreciate it." Bliss goes back to working on the unit. "Look, it's no pressure. You find the money, or you find someone who has, or you just forget the whole thing. Up to you." She gestures for you to help her refit the casing, and you both slot it back into place. "I think I'm good to wrap this one up for now, but if you're into it, come back and we can bid on a new contract. Something to get our teeth into, something that pays." She gives you a serious look. "You can trust me, I don't say this stuff lightly." You kick away from the bay, propelling yourself back to the handholds at the entrance. You slip out with a wave, and as you do, someone slips back in. You hear Bliss as you glide back down to the passageway. "Moritz, I swear to God, if these filters aren't clean..." You smile. "Seems like this could be interesting." "Yeah. New quest line, because I need more of those like I need a hole in the head. But to be fair, we have completed a lot." We've only failed 2, and one of them was because we just didn't like Ethan. Which is kind of ironic because Ethan is my, one of my diary reports. Ethan, the character in this game. So, we are trying to grow mushrooms. That's our current quest, I think. Help Bliss compete. Okay, so let's have a look. We need 80. Scam or an opportunity? Bliss seems solid enough, and this might be your best chance to get in on the hub's repair trade. Cool, so we need to get more money. We could, by selling the ship mind, easily get it. We've got a couple of data things. That's probably the best way to go to start with. And a scrap. We might need scrap. So I'll start by selling the data, because data's really easy to get back. We've got one of each. But because we've got a 20% off thing, it means that we've got a... right, no data left. Cool. But yeah, we might need the ship mind. You know, never know what's going to happen. So let's not... And we need to input our stabilizer, otherwise we'll be down to 2 die. And I don't like going down to the idea of going down to 2 die. But our doctor's office disappeared, so you know, that's slightly worrying. So objective is now babysit mushrooms, get cash. But yeah, the doctor's office disappeared. We've got 2 before we can talk to Rabi again. We've still got like that whole shipbuilding thing, but as I said, I can only really take care of like a couple of quest lines at the same time. 1 more before the mushrooms are grown. That's not the best use. There was something that had really good money. Oh, it was the... because we've got a couple of high dice. They're up there is buy a berth. Why would we do that? Buy expensive food and then invest. So we can't do that yet. That is sell ship mind, buy ship mind, export Matsuki. Steal a shipment. That gives us 16 if we succeed. There's nothing more in there. Gives us 13. That cost us money. Okay, so we want to maybe do some gambling into it. Well, let's chance it with a 5. High stakes only. Yay, we got 24. Okay, cool. You hit a stride of good games, amassing a solid set of chits. On your final game, a decisive defeat, the other player applauds. Okay, so now we have enough to buy in. And we've got enough energy to survive another cycle. So let's go buy in. It's not like we can buy, you know, our very important thing that stops us from dying, but we've got 12-ish cycles before that becomes like a major problem. We got 20% off because of our thing. Partner with Bliss. Bliss is incredibly grateful. I'll pay back every chit, I promise you. You guess you 2 are partners now. Excellent. So, ooh, and we have a bloop. Bayview. Brought into the hub's competitive from Palmer. Okay, right, so few cycles. Right, so we've got 3 cycles before that one goes now. Okay. Hang on, while we're up here, let's just double check there's nothing else. So bar is buy a spacer meal, and capsule is the sleeping berth thing, which is just weird. Why would we pay like an exuberant amount? We can just come down here. Okay, so what have we got? Alright, enter the greenway. We need to grow the mushrooms first. Expose Yannick. We need to speak to Rabia. We can't do that yet. Find Ashton. That is a thing we could do. Need a mushroom for that, which we're growing mushrooms, and then complete repair jobs, do experiments, and win a ticket. So that's the crew thing. We've not got brilliant numbers right now. Let's go see whether the trekking is one of our +2s.
Yeah, interface is a +2. And that will give us some crypto. I mean, if this works, that would be good. Okay. Rather than hiking around the wilderness, you can make use of your skills, tap into the cloud, and find and buy signals. Okay. Neutral outcome. Alright. Well, it's still something. So 5. A neutral on a 5 is a bit of a kick in the face, though. You track scattered weak moving signals as if someone's transporting equipment through the margins. Slightly annoying. Okay, come on, let's give her... Yeesh. The moment you tap into the cloud, you're locked into a trance. You wake up hours later. Images of growing things etched in your mind. Well, that didn't work. Now we are starving. Okay. But we can work and we get 2 energy, whatever. So we'll use our final 1 dice to get 2 energy so we don't die. Excellent. And we still have 5 dice next time. Oh dear. We may have to skip feeding the cat for 1 thing just so we don't have credits. I love this game. This game is so cool. Oh, look at those beautiful die. Okay. Right, something should have unlocked. I'm sure I said something I had 1 thing and it would unlock. But yeah, the doctor's office has disappeared. I wish I'd brought a thing before, but I didn't know it was going to disappear. Okay, so we've got 1 more to wait for Rabia, but we should have... I think we have like at least 2 to wait for Bliss. Mushrooms. Okay, so we get 2 random rare mushrooms on a success, like a hyper success, and like our fairly condition is a Gerol cap, so you know that's great. We've got harvest mushrooms. Fruiting bodies are appearing. Gerols are easy to find, but Masuki and other stranger types will require extra effort. Take your pick. Well, we could pick quite a few. Fungal yield. The crop of fungal bodies has broken the surface of the mulch. Once harvested, you'll have to grow more. Okay. So let's just start by like doing a... Excellent. Okay, so we got club head caps. Okay. Matsuki caps. Cool. Okay. So now let's do something which would maybe get us a fail. We got a Gerol and a plus fungus yield. Okay, so now we have 3 Gerols, so I think maybe go for a 4? Okay, so we've got an extra Gerol, that's fine. You stumble and crunch a cluster of mushrooms in the dirt. You salvage some of the pale caps, but curse your own clumsiness. Okay, but we've completed a drive. And we have Spore Catcher. Put those sample collecting skills to good use. We've got 1 upgrade point. Okay, so I think... Germinate spores. Okay. Right, so we need to collect some more spores again. Well, we've got 1. We'll plonk that in there. So, okay. So, we wanted Matsuk and Gerol. I've got 1 of each. Rich and pungent Matsuk caps are Riko's preferred subject of study. Something about their environmental sensitivity. We get 3 on that one. You hand over the caps and Riko looks pleased. My amateur mycologist. Thank you. So then we've got a Gerol. We only need... hang on, let's go and give that to the... We should probably harvest some spores as well out of that. But for now, we can get to know Emphas. Bring Gerol caps. I'm really excited about this. I've been waiting like... I was really excited. So Emphas wants to help make this old recipe. You'll need 3 handfuls of Gerol caps, fresh and firm. Plus we're starving, and this usually gives us food. Roll fricassee. Emphas easily takes the bright yellow Gerol caps. He seems pleased with them. Oh, okay. Do we get a story? Okay, now we have to wait. Working on gathering the ingredients and preparing the mushrooms. It doesn't like to rush. Okay, now we've got to wait 3 ones. And also now we can't have mushroom food. Okay. I'm not screwing myself. Honest. Forget how long we had to wait up here. 2 more cycles. Okay, so... Right, one success on this for the spores gets us enough to populate my fungus grove again. And then we have to wait 4 cycles for them to replenish. But we do have a clubhead cap, which is weird. So yes, I think it's this which needs us to do things. So now we can put in a Edgerol. They're more abundant than Mazook, but Rico said they still have the process. Pale and delicate. Beautiful! We got +2 on that one. Rico gushes as you hand over the golden caps. You've never seen anyone so excited about mushrooms. So we get a 3 and a 2. So it really depends on our success in the mushroom thing. So... I think I'm going to try that sunshine dice thing to get energy. Possibly. If we fail, we only get 1, and that's bad, because we only have 11 credits. We could sell scrap. Let's sunbathe. We've not done that before. Your frame's photosynthetic skin allows you to gather energy through sunlight. The longer you stay, the better. Neutral. +2, that's fine. The sun heats your skin and you feel its light seeping into your veins as glucose. Excellent. Okay, now we'll end the cycle. And this should unlock the yet again questliney thing. And some reasonable dice. So we've got 2 cycles for that. This is my current quest. Even before you enter the office, you can hear the sound of Rabia working the heavy bag. She's hammering it, the chain creaking as it shakes with each hit. She's been like this since... Sabine doesn't finish the sentence. They're sitting on a stool looking at the terminal in the corner, searching through the SNUP data you pulled all those cycles ago. Is she okay? Just angry, we all are. But you have to remember she knew Yannet for a long time. Sabine glances nervously at Rabia. What SNUP did? Rabia stops punching, and in the silence you can hear her breathing hard. Sabine looks over at her and you sense something between them. You realise you haven't seen them together since they tried to kill each other in the same unit. What's changed since then? They hooked him up like a puppet! Rabia hits the bag. Bring that thing in his head so they can control him. Push the old Janek out. I don't know why he let them in. Rabia throws a few more punches. But it's a lesson. Don't let them in. Another flurry. Yasian shouldn't deal with corporations and we never will again. She spits. She comes away from the bag. At least Yannick's death has been treated as natural. There's a chance we come back from this that the Yasigan can hold on, but there are opportunities to try and take control. Sabine turns to you. Yes, but now the connection's been broken. I've been looking at removing the trackers from the implants in Yasigans and forces. It's a significant job, but I think with enough time I can do the surgeries. Rabia walks away from the bag towards the far side of the unit. Those surgeries will never happen if the Yasigan collapses, she shouts back at Sabine. Clearly this is a well-worn argument. Will Yatigan really collapse? I don't think so, no. Rabia doesn't either. They look over at her. At least not when she's calm. What I understand now is that Yatigan can be something if we want it to be. Coming here from Resinart, from the core worlds, all I saw was a gang, and with Yannick keeping me on a tight leash, they shudder. Rabia believes, and I want that belief. They look unsure. I also want to be done with Resinart, but I doubt they are done with me. They glance away, rubbing their shoulders. Are you and Rabia
Sabine fixes you with a look. Yeah, sleeper, isn't that obvious? They smile. I've been wanting to see, Sabine said, begins nervously. I'm sorry I didn't tell you before where I came from. I know I've apologised, but I want to again. They pause. Properly. When I leaked the data on the sleeper program, it was to try and help people like you. They grit their teeth. But after all the cycles here being pushed down and pushed around, trying to survive all that got away from me. So when you turned up, they sigh. It shook me up. They run a hand through their hair. But I ended up here, so they look at Rabia. Oh, of course. They reach into a pocket and take out a handful of vials. These are the last of the keys. You can have them. They drop them in your hands. After these last few, I don't know what we can do. With the SNR connection broken, they look down. But there are other ways. Repairs, other pharmaceuticals. I even heard there are some labs out in the Greenway. Perhaps they can help. They meet your eye. I'm sorry I can't do more. Thanks for everything. They look away, their eyes bright with tears. Rabia crosses back to you both and sits beside Sabine. They look at each other and you can't help but smile at the idea of them together. But you two plotting. Rabia grins. Sabine laughs and the sound is a welcome one. You watch the two of them teasing each other and smile. Later when you leave, you take that handful of vials out of your pocket and look at them. You can still feel that core of anger deep down inside and you don't know if it will ever leave. But SNAP doesn't own you anymore. They can't because this place, these people own you. They are what makes you get up every cycle. They are what keeps you breathing. You put the vials away and walk through the low end, your senses tuned to every sight, every smell and every sound, soaking it all in, living. Excellent. So, we now have some vials, but yes, the thing's shut down. We've got 3 vials. Ah! Hi, Dan. Did you get lost again? Okay, so we've got 2 we need to decide what we're gonna be uploading. Using scrap to repair condition sounds like a sensible idea, actually. So we have a scrap. Perk self-repair. Careful engineering, you can patch up your damaged body with scrap components. The result ain't pretty, but, you know, gets us an extra thing. 1 per scrap. Worth it. Give someone directions! Oh, I'm proud of you. Okay, so scrap for self-repair, very useful. Probably would have been more useful earlier and I would have kept more scrap. Okay, so let's check. We've still got 1 cycle before we can get a contract thing there. There's nothing there. We've got 2 cycles before we get our mushroom results. And then we've got that engineering thing. Aww! Cute. So then we've got here, we've got 3 cycles before we can get more mushrooms. Don't think there's any point. We could always force in and get some Jarrell caps for this lab thing. But is it worth it? We may as well grow our own. So, what we're going to do is... What do we need? A 3. Let's just put in a 3 and find this guy. You notice a spike of activity. Vast transfer of information taking place. What's happening out there? There we go. The trail ahead extends deep into an overgrown section of the Greenway. At this far end of the ring, where the long lazy curve of the Greenway becomes the shattered landscape of the wastes, things are oddly quiet. Ahead stands a vast farm stack, broken from its access by rust or force. And lying amongst the overgrown landscape like an ancient temple, it is stained with moss and algae, flows of green running out from its broken tanks like a frozen brackish tide. This is where Ashton is hiding. You're pretty sure. All your intuition points to the shadows beneath this collapsed superstructure. You roll the calm headset Annika gave you in your palm. You slip the headset into your ear and it fizzes with static. After a few moments you hear Annika, "Sleeper, have you located the target?" A doubt enters your mind. Can you be sure he's there? Yes, come on. Copy, hold tight until I get there. The static cuts out, the channel dead. You hold your position and watch the trail. Ahead, the stars will wheel with the motion of the eye, and your mind wanders. You try to imagine what this place looked like before the collapse. All ordered rows of crops, corporate pleasure gardens, glowing farm stacks. Now, it's wilderness, a strange overgrown biosphere bordered by the void of space. You smile, despite everything. It seems like an improvement. So, may as well toggle that on at least. Sleeper! Annika's hiss brings you out of your reverie. He's in the collapsed stack? I think so. She gives you a look. You better be right. Well, there's no way I'm following that trail. If he's up there, I'll have eyes on that for sure. She glances across the landscape. Let's keep to the undergrowth. Work our way around. She heads off towards the central spine of the greenway with you following close behind. It's slow going there where the overgrowth meets the metal wall, but it's so concealed that you can barely see the glass roof high above. Annika somehow seems to know where to go. Annika works her way through dense undergrowth, pushing aside branches and fronds. It's exhausting and you desperately want to rest, but Annika shows no signs of letting up. Up ahead, there's a faint glow from a collapsed stack. Annika leads you around the side to a broken tank. You both step through the opening, trying to avoid the broken glass that nestles among the moss and algae. You work your way up the slanted tank, Annika setting a deliberate pace. Somewhere water drips, and you swear you hear birdsong. Hanging plants catch the light, coating the place in a pale and sticky green. Annika reaches the end of the tank where it meets the central drum and holds up a hand for you to stop. You inch forward and look over the edge. The vast drum is like a cistern with plants growing on all sides and wet mossy islands at its base. It's beautiful, and for a moment you can't see anything but tons of green. Then you see the sleeper. In a faint circle of light descending down through the drum, the sleeper lies slumped at an odd angle. They are surrounded by crates, and beside them, on one of the mossy islands, there's an object. A cylinder set on a tarp. It's connected to the sleeper's head. You flinch. They one of the others? One of the ones that escaped with you? You squint, trying to recognize them. They are twisted, broken apart, wrong. You look away. Annika doesn't look at you. She doesn't look at the sleeper. She fixes her eyes on the object. That's Amber's ship mind, she says, and you suddenly recognize the cylinder. Who is? You turn to Annika to speak, but she's already gone. She drops off the edge of the tank and lands on one of the mossy islands, her armor letting out a hiss as it absorbs the impact. A shot hits her shoulder piece, the ceramic armor cracking but holding as she braces into the impact. Then she launches herself forward, the now activated armor launching across the drum. Another shot goes wide before she reaches the cover of the crates beside the sleeper. Shit! You hear the shout from one of the tanks high up on the far wall. Annika reaches over and wraps her hand around the thick connection between the ship mine and the sleeper. What is she doing? You better come down here or I'll rip this right out of their head, she screams at the wall of tanks. You shiver at the suggestion. Stop! Quiet, sleeper! Annika shouts. A shot rips through the moss beside you, filling your vision with green. The shooter must be somewhere on the other side of the tank. Do that again, and I swear to God I'll tear their head off. Annika shouts to them. Sleeper, you stay down. It's a long pause. All you can hear is the dripping of water running down the walls of the drum. Then Ashton calls out. I'm coming down, Annika. Don't do anything stupid, for God's sake. He appears at the far side of the drum, stepping through the shallow water, a rifle raised above his head. Disgraced mercenary, Ashton, who is cradling the sleeper. Something's going on here. Drop the gun, Annika shouts. He throws it down to the moss. As you lean out to watch, you see him catch your eye, clocking your presence. What are you up to here, Ashton, you sicko? She stands, keeping her sidearm trained on his head. You ripped my ship mine for what? Some freakish experiment? Ashton approaches with shaking hands, his eyes now fixed on the connecting bundle of wires that Annika still has hold of. Steady, Annika, it isn't like that. I needed the ship mine. You have to understand. They would have died without it. What are you talking about? I don't give a shit why you rip my ship mine and cripple my ship. I should put you down right now. She tightens her grip on the connection. Typical of you, Annika. No curiosity. Ashton smiles shakily. That's why I never asked for it, for your help. You only look after yourself. He nods at you. That sleeper up there, they're just bait, right, to draw me out. Annika sucks a breath. Are you trying to give me more reason to shoot you? I love them, Annika. Ashton looks at the crumpled sleeper. I love them and they were going to die. I knew you would never understand that. He starts closing the gap between himself and Annika now, slowly inching forward. Hey, it might be good I have another ship mind. But we've already replaced the one in the ship. You know, the sleeper doesn't have to die. Don't do that, Ashton, Annika snarled. Don't do that. Let the wires go, Annika. Let us go. If you don't get out of my way. He inches closer. Please. I can't let you take it, Ashton. Annika hardens her stare. You stole it from me. You left me for dead. She shakes her head. You think I'm going to trust you after all that? I need it, Annika. I need them to survive. Ashton's in reach of the sleeper now of Annika. I'm going to take them now, Annika. He raises a hand. I'm going to take the ship mind and go. Annika loses her grip on the connection a little. Her hand is shaking now. Stop, Ashton. She lowers the gun a little. Stop. Seeing her drop her guard, he makes his move. A blur of movement, a struggle, a shot, another. You recoil back as behind the edge as they ricochet around the inside of the drum, the sound deafening you. When you crawl back to the edge, Ashton is bleeding into the water, the red and the green. Annika is standing at the centre of the drum, the severed connection in her hand. The water drips endlessly, drip after drip after drip. You force yourself to look at the broken sleeper. There's no sign of life, of humanity. They are just another broken object among other broken objects, while all around, living things grow and thrive. Annika finally looks back up at you, tears in her eyes. She begins to say something that might be, sorry, but you're already gone. Oh. That was really sad. Okay, so I can't do anything so my mushrooms grow. Really. Anything productive there. I could probably harvest some things. Excuse me. I still need 2 more for that quest. I am tracking talk to her, but I don't have her anywhere, I don't think, unless she's hiding in a data stack. Maybe she's gone up the thingy-majig. No, I've got 1 more before we can help Bliss. Could do with earning some cash. Maybe we have to wait to find her. That gives us the best cryo thing. Ah, or we could start the engineer job. Systems fatigue. So, the Citadel Horizon is webbed with complex systems bundled like nerves in a body. Your job is to lay those systems in. Once the shift's done, you close your eyes. See the webs of systems running inside the Citadel Horizon. You're a natural at this work. Cool. Okay. 3 chances at screwing up. There'll be a 4. Maybe we'll try it. Neutral. Okay. +1. +12. Yeah, okay, cool. You end up ankle deep in braided cables, wiring and rewiring. Eventually settle systems, but it's a struggle. We have credits, so we can do something. And got a positive. Excellent. So, that's progress. That requires mushrooms to food. And the mushroom guy is not, so we could... we're going to have to buy it somewhere. The only place to buy, I think, is haggling on the farm. Because we're... Oh, unless we want to do the expensive spacer food. Do it once. Worth eating at all the restaurants. The Gimbal. Buy a spacer meal. It's only 14. You know, it's not like it's massively more expensive than the others. Whatever. Spacer food is a slurry of modified... We get 3 energy, though, so that's good. Modified compounds and vitamins laced with a dose of algae. It's effective nutrition, but little else. Okay. And we fed ourselves, so we need to feed our cats, because otherwise I'll feel guilty. But yes, next time we know to save all our bits and don't sell them unless we desperately need cash. And if we have cash to buy parts, then that's good. Ooh, cool. Ah. Moritz. Ah, it's Bliss's assistant. Hey. A quiet voice greets you as you leave. Sleeper, it's me. Moritz, he pauses. I work for Bliss. He rubs the back of his head. You're not an easy person to find. I'll move around. Moritz holds up his hands. Hey, no judgment, it's cool. You both stand there for a moment, each waiting for the other to speak. What's up? Oh yeah, well Bliss needs you. A job just came in, a real big one. She's asking for you to come up and help her out. He nods sagely. I'll be right there. Nice, yeah. Moritz stands for a little while, unsure if the message is delivered. I've got it. Cool, cool, cool. He looks around. Bliss just likes me to do a thorough job, you know. He rubs his hands together before burying them into his jacket pocket. See you, Sleeper. Moritz ambles off down the corridor, kicking at a filter cap on his way out. Time to head to Blitz's Bay, then. We were planning on it. Just... obviously can't find Annika. So... you know, help Bliss, I guess, is what we're doing for now. Okay, so we could buy some scrap. One more for the mushroom thing. I think we probably have to progress more in a quest line before we can get somewhere useful. Okay, 2 more for my mushrooms. Oh, hello. The ambergris is here now. Annika's docked at a rickety old jetty, but she's sealed up. A note says, Sleeper, stay. I'll be ready soon. So 2 before we can talk to them. But I'm pretty pissed off that, you know, it seems that their crewmate was actually trying to save someone, and she wasn't willing to listen and shot people, so it's very unlikely that I'm going to go anywhere with her. Ember's Wake. A functioning fuel tanker. Okay. Oi! What do we need to do? Okay, so we've got a potential 4 for sealing the leaks with a -2 condition, but we've got 2 6s, so we're good there. So we've got full system flush. Bliss has an idea. A full system flush with tracer fluid to reveal the leaks, which means an emergency venting of all tanks. Brilliant. Dangerous. And we've got a +2 with a -energy on it. Tank recladding. Typically the way to fix this kind of leak is to painstakingly inspect and reseal the entire ship's cladding, but is there time? I think with an engine... need to have a check which is the one that gives us scrap. So that's an endure. So we've got the Ember's Wake contract. We've got 3 cycles. Somehow Bliss swung a tanker contract, but the catch is that the work needs to be turned around fast, too fast. So then we've got sealing the leaks. The tanker's crew have detected a set of leaks and they need to isolate and seal them as soon as possible. That's where you come in. So that is, we could do it in 2 die. We've got 2 6s. We should be able to complete this. But I'm just going to check. So engineer action gets us scrap. Endure doesn't get us anything extra. So engage gets us energy, interface gets us cryo, and engineer gets us scrap. Scrap means we can repair, which would get us back up to dice. So we definitely want to do engineer. Plus we've got 2 6s, so we do that. Okay, positive outcome. Of course, we had a 6. You know, well, technically we had a 7. You carefully trigger the emergency sequence and the tracer fluid does its job. All the leaks are revealed, and now you just need to seal them. Ah, can we only do that once then? Right, okay, we can only do that once. Action unavailable. Okay, so now we have to do 2 recladdings. Did we at least get a scrap? Oh, it's a chance. Chance. Oh, okay, fine. Your careful and focused inspection is rewarded with the discovery of second leaks. You seal them up. Okay. So that was a +2. Excellent. So we've got a 5. Hopefully. This is a positive. Neutral. Damn! Okay. Risky is minus energy. But I think we don't chance it and we go use the dice to... On the farm... Not the farm, the commune. To get 2 energy, guaranteed 2 energy, even on a fail. It's a useful action, as long as we've got a dice. Because everyone gets treated the same. Oh, we got a positive one. You signed work in the grow beds among the plants on the earth. You like it out here, and the green shoots are reward enough. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot less frantic when you're not trying to do a DLC thing at the same time. So, yeah, we don't have any scrap. Let's input cryo. To feed our cat. And end the cycle. I like that I get a cat. Okay, not too bad. We've got a thing that appeared. Right, our mushroom thing. Emphasis preparing the Girol caps. He has had to heavily adapt to this recipe, he says, but the smell is already incredible. Oh, we need energy, so that's great. It emanates from a strange purplish white bulb you've never seen before, and he's slicing it fine-like. He brushes and slices the mushrooms, then places them in the wok with the sliced bulb and the oil. They caramelize there in that well-worn crucible. He adds liquids, transparent and opaque, and then turns down the heat. A sprinkle of leaves is the final touch. Wow. I forgot what I did for his voice, so we're going to readapt. We have a moment, Sleeper. He smiles. Do you have a story? Something in the scent of food gives you a feeling of nostalgia, something distant and melancholic. It seems like the story should match that feeling somehow. Maybe you'll feel better for telling it. Recall your oldest memories. You start by explaining that when you are emulated from a person, many of your memories are left behind. Perhaps as an intentional part of the process, a way of keeping sleepers ignorant and malleable, or perhaps as a side effect of the imperfect emulation. You admit you don't really know. What you do know is that some memories survive, and that on occasion they come back to you like shadows passing overhead. You detail one recurring memory which, despite returning to you with enough regularity for you to think it familiar, always fades as quickly as it arrives. You struggle to explain the feeling of being whole for a moment that comes with this memory, and then how that wholeness slips away to leave you feeling like you've forgotten something important, but just can't bring it to mind. Memphis nods throughout, cooking as he does with deft and skillful movements. You start to trail off when you realise you can't find the words to explain how the memories you do have feel like both yours and someone else's at the same time, and how that almost fills you with a certain sadness. The sadness of remaining forever unknown, even to yourself. Memphis finishes cooking and meets your eye. I'm sorry, Sleeper, for your troubles. He puts the wok to one side. I appreciate you sharing with me. He smiles. I hope it lightens you a little. He passes you a bowl and heaps the Girols into it, their yellow colour mixing with the pale sauce in whirls and blooms. Eat. The dish is delicious. Filling it warms you as you eat in a way that you weren't even sure your body could be warmed. It is a small mercy you think that Essenart left you this pleasure. Many of the features of frames are there to simulate human experience. You know that much. Emulated minds cannot be rewired, so their need for embodied experience must be met. It's why you breathe, even when you do not need air. Without that simulation, the sensation of drowning would be unbearable. Food serves another purpose. Your frame is able to metabolize it to produce energy from the raw material. Vitamins and minerals are excess, of course. Your frame only needs raw power, so much of this is wasted. And yet when you eat this food and feel that warmth, nothing feels wasted. It all means something to you. As you finish, Memphis takes the bowl, the last of his cleaning. He smiles at you, and neither of you feel the need to say anything more. Instead, you simply exchange nods and walk your separate ways back into the bright market, somehow changed. And we're full up on energy. Excellent. So, we can... Memphis mentions an old recipe for Matsuki broth, and all he needs is 2 handfuls of Matsuki crab. Oh, we've got more! Damn! Okay, but we've got a mushroom thing back. So now we need Matsuki caps, but we need to do the lab thing first. So, actually, first, we need to go help the Bliss contract, because we're nearly finished with that. We just need one more. Let's put a 4 in, because it becomes a 5. Between you and Bliss, a single leak is found. Oh, neutral outcome. And sealed, you both agree it's taken too long. Well, we did it, though. As you both wait in the airlock for it to cycle back to the bay, Bliss thumps you on the arm. Nicely done, Sleeper. We cleared that contract, no problem. She stretches. Once we're back in the bay, we can check if the payments come through and divide it up. She stretches. Feel good? The airlock clunks and the lights flicker, and a moment later you're back in the bay where Moritz is at the racks trying to figure out where the mess of tools Bliss left in her wake should be hung. Hey, Moritz! Moritz looks over his shoulder. Sleeper? He spins a wrench in his hand. Look like clean work out there. He nods respectfully. You look over to Bliss, who's already gliding over to her management console. She twirls a little as she crosses the bay, so I'm 137. Crosses the cavernous bay. No one you've ever met moves as well in 0G as she does. It's like she was born into it. I mean, she's also tiny, which helps. Shit! Bliss slams a foot onto the console. Shit! What's up? I can't even! Bliss closes her eyes. Come here! Bliss calls you over. Look at this, just look. She spins the terminal screen. You see the details for Bay's account. You see an entry for the Ember's Wake, a repair be paid in full the moment you finish the job, but then directly after the whole amount was transferred back out into an unknown account. What the hell? It's the work of my ex! She punches a terminal. He must have coded a backdoor into the machine before he left. She rubs her forehead. There's no way we can. She pauses, thinking. Moritz, throw me that wrench. You gonna fix it? Ha! Moritz spins the wrench across the bay. Bliss smiles. Something like that. She's gonna beat the shit out of it with a wrench. Bliss brings the wrench down on the terminal hard. You flinch backwards as a hail of computer parts spill up into the bay in a glittering arc. Fragments of screen, memories, sections of the casing. When Bliss is done, she clips the wrench to her tool belt. Try backdooring your way into that, you shit! Moritz drifts out from his hiding place among the racks. Bliss? He says tentatively. You want me to? He looks at the arc of fragments drifting around the bay nervously. Bliss shakes her head. No, she sighs. I've got it. You go get me a new terminal. Cheapest you can find. Cobble together one from pieces at the art exchange if you have to. Can I help? Bliss glides over to a panel by the wall. Don't worry, one of the first things I had installed when we spec'd out this place was a cleaning suite. She flicks over a plastic cover on a huge red button. Watch yourself. She hammers the button and a row of laser emitters unfold from the bay wall. They start crawling their way around the work area, frying the debris as they do impulses of burning light. Hey, I could have used that scrap. Bliss smiles. It's that, or just space the whole bay every few cycles. You okay? Not really. She stares at the sweep panel. Just don't seem to be able to extricate myself from this shit, no matter how hard I try. The cleaning sweep buzzes and crackles as it works its way across the bay. That account wasn't everything. I'm not that stupid. Once Moritz gets back, I'll secure it and flush everything else. She flicks a nearby piece of debris into the path of the sweep. Clean break. Then we take another contract, that's it. She shuts off the sweep as it reaches the near end of the bay. You don't want the cryo back? I want it, but it's gone. He could have transferred it anywhere. She looks out across the hub. And even if I knew where he was, the last thing I want to do is ever see him again. She rubs her forehead. I'm sorry, Sleeper. I know you work for this too, but next time won't be the same. It's okay. She smiles. See you in a few cycles. Moritz will let you know. That's good. I just got a ping. Is that a... Aha! My brother. She winks and kicks off into the bay to finish cleaning up. Okay, so we're now waiting for another contract. 4 cycles. Maybe this time we'll get some cash. It's fine. We don't massively need it. Okie dokes. So we've got to wait. I think we've got to wait for mushrooms. I'm just going to go check on the other side. Memory like a sieve, but also, you know, not really memory like a sieve. I don't have a memory like a sieve. I have short-term memory is a bit poo. Right, okay, we've got 1 cycle for that and 1 cycle for that. Hopefully we get some really high dice so we can get some lots of Girolles. No, lots of Girolles, not some Matsukis. Okay, so unit assembly. Am I going to continue? I'm going to finish soon. Realistically, I'm going to continue for a bit longer. So I'm just going to be like 1 minute and need the bathroom.
Okie doke. Right, so junior tech. I mean, let's not waste a 6 right now. Let's just put this in here. Okie dokes. Four should guarantee it's a neutral, right? There we go. And we've got a 6 left, which is useful in case we have a critical on this one. Each shift, a crowd of would-be workers gathers outside the shipyard, each of them clinging to a 4-digit number printed on receipt paper. These are their assignment numbers, and you're either called for a shift or you aren't. As you arrive, the crowd is restless, and chatter rumbles through the lines. For those like you who've graduated to the work teams, shifts are guaranteed. Having just walked out of a meeting with a supervisor where you were praised for your efforts, you feel the glow of a job well done. You can't help but feel empathy for those huddled as you pass, waiting for their number to come up. You keep your head down as you leave the shipyard, feeling a little guilty as you do. Hey, Sleeper, wake up! Ooh. Hey, Sleeper, wake up! Lem's voice trembles as he shouts above the rumble of the crowd, and you turn to see him pushing through, Mina crying in his arms. Good to see you, friend! He's breathing hard after shouldering through the waiting workers. You made it to work team, good for you! He tries to catch his breath, stroking Mina's hair as he does. Shh, baby, give me a second here. He smiles weakly at you as he comforts her, and her cries start to fade. Out of the crowd, he sets Mina down by his side, shiny streaks down both her cheeks. As he does, you see he's clutching an assignment number on a crumpled piece of paper. Mina okay? She's good, we just had to rush up here. He puts his hand on her shoulder, and she clings to his side. Esther, who usually takes her, is sick. He stretches. I don't know what... A noise sounds from the entrance, a klaxon, followed by a list of numbers growing brightly on a display screen. The crowd responds instantly, pushing and pulling as people try to wade in to the entry checkpoint. Lem stops and turns back towards the crowd, then glances down at the crumpled paper. That's my number. Shit, Mina. He starts patting the pockets on his gear and glancing around. Go, I'll watch her. He blinks a little, staring. Thank you, I'll... He crouches to Mina. You're going to stay with our friend here, okay? They're going to keep you safe and... He stands back up. Here, take her bag. He shoves it back into your hands. She's got food. Shit, I gotta go. He backs away into the crowd. Mina, I'll be back real soon, okay? Be good. And Lem disappears into the rolling crowd, who are now trying to get into the shipyard before it locks down. Mina stands staring, suddenly small without Lem at her sides. Oh, look at her big coat. She fixes you with a dark-eyed look you can't quite read. Hey, Mina. She holds the stare, moving. The 2 parallel tear tracks still glint on her cheeks. You okay, Mina? She sniffs and looks down. Look at the bag. You unlatch the top of the bag and see a few metal containers fashioned from scrap components. A battered slate sits on top, blinking a low battery warning, and tucked beside is a ragged rabbit hand-sewn. Take the rabbit. You pull the rabbit out of the bag, its long limbs waggling as you do. Mina goes to jump and grab it, but she holds herself back. She stands and hugs herself, eyes on the rabbit. Give her the rabbit. You hold the rabbit out, and Mina snatches it from your hand. She hugs it tightly without looking away from you. Bun, she says, staring you down, ferocious despite her size. Bun. You move a little closer as you speak, closing the gap. He doesn't speak, she says. She looks at you suspiciously, but her face softens a little. She waggles Bun in front of you and then walks him up your arm and onto your shoulder where he sits. She pokes your arm a couple of times. Are you really a robot? Sort of. Yeah, she thinks. Me too. Mina has more questions. Lots of questions. Questions about you breathe or if you rust, but before long you were talking about rabbits, and what Esther the lady who usually takes her smells like, and whether or not fairies live in the eye's heating pipes. You pass the time like this, sitting side by side on the floor of the walkway as others pass by, sometimes talking, sometimes drawing on the slate, sometimes playing with Bun the rabbit. And this is how Lem finds you just as both of you are starting to yawn. He's dirty and tired, but Mina leaps up his legs and into his arms as he stumbles backwards. You two get on okay? He asks, trying to keep Mina from climbing onto his shoulders. On okay. Mina shoots you a smile from Lem's arms, her suspicion gone. Well, looks like Mina can be nice. He pokes her in the ribs and she squeals in delight. Thank you, friend. I mean it. He gives you a warm, wide smile. I owe you. Look, he glances around. It seems like Esther, the lady who usually watches her, is going to be out for a spell. If you ever have some time, I'd really appreciate you coming down to our place in the low end. He grins sheepishly. If you have time. I mean, I live down there too, so it should be fine. But now I have to take this one to eat. He plays at biting Mina, and she giggles in response. See you, Sleeper. He waves, and they stumble off down the corridor, drawing gazes from passing spaces as Mina's laughter echoes down the corridor in bright squeals. Oh, now we've got a new one. Now what do we have to do? Help Lem work. I can do that. So we've got a bridge. Okay. We can also do the fit up, which has a billion-ty part, so we might put our 6 into that. But let's see what else there is first. Timber. Oh, lemon min. Let's have a look. Babysit Mina. Okay, so he needs 6 shifts for a ticket out. Okay. Lem can't work shifts in the shipyard unless someone watches Mina. You two seem to get along last time and Lem is desperate. Take it out. Unless Lem gets time in the shipyard, he won't qualify for the Federal Crew Lottery. Watching Mina gives him that chance. Right, well, I'm totally going to put my 6 in that then. I've got full energy. So, plus. Oh, and we got plus energy from that. We got 3 energy and we didn't even need any. But that's useful to know. And 2 for a ticket out. Okay, so that gives us energy. Yeah, so that gives us a thing in a ship mind. And I don't know whether we want to stock up. We need to remember to stock up before we accidentally sever the link. If we play through that again. Well, when we play through that again. 1 more for mushrooms and 1 more, as I said, for them. Okay, we'll go on a little bit longer. Because, you know me. I don't know if we can get to an end. Whether we want to. Let's feed our cat. And then into the cycle. We've still got 3 stabilizers, we're good. But if we had scrap to repair ourselves, we could keep ourselves in 5 dice. Quite easily, 1 per day. We have enough spare cash. We should buy some scrap. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. We got a scrap. Two scrap. Three scrap. Excellent. Okay, so don't think I need to do that yet. What we do need to do is go to the other side of the thing. There's no time limit on the guy working, so we don't have to babysit every day. So we've got mushrooms, which we can definitely get a couple of good ones. And we've got Ankita. Okay. I'm a bit pissed off at you. You spot Ankita on the track to the farm stack. She had the box on her shoulder and is working her way down the slope. She sees you as she approaches. Neither of you speak for a moment. She looks tired, pale. Her hair is tangled and clumps of dirt cling to her armor. You both eye each other. Ankita? She holds up her hand. Sleeper. She takes a deep breath. I'm sorry for what happened. Truly I am. She looks down. I'm sorry you ended up in the middle of this when all you've shown me is kindness. She rubs her face. I'm sorry. It's okay. She nods, then looks up at the stars. I've never... She stops herself. Thank you. Ankita shifts the weight of the box on her shoulder. I've been preparing for... She grimaces. Look, she sighs. Can you come with me? It's easier if... If what? You see it, she finishes. It's just down this way. Ankita leads on down the dirt path between the pillars. There's a wind passing through the greenway, a quirk of the air currents the biosphere maintains, and it ruffles the leaves softly. The sound makes the silence more obvious, more complete. You try not to think of the last time you were here. You've been trying not to think of it for the past few cycles. The image of the sleeper, sprawled, twisted open, connected to the ship mind, has been hard to forget. You realise Ankita is leading you back there, back into the drum at the centre of the stack. You pause, trembling at the threshold. She turns. What are you doing? She looks at you with empty eyes. What needs to be done? You stand on the threshold and look up the tanks, green and wet, some glowing with flickering grow lamps. You look down at Ankita, suddenly so small under this hulking ruin. The smallest she's ever looked. She places the box down. You follow Ankita into the stack through a low tank, entering the drum at ground level. It's just as beautiful as you remember, but it barely touches you.
Instead, you check the apertures of the tank for the glint of a weapon or a shadow amongst the moss. Ankita stops and you look down. The mossy island at the centre of the tank is clear now. The equipment cleared away. In its place is a mound of dirt, loosely covered with moss. Ashton's rifle stands straight, half buried in the dirt at the grave's head. I buried them together, Ankita says without turning. You both stand there in silence for a while. You think of questions you could ask about Ashton, about the sleeper. Was the sleeper dead? She takes a moment to respond, and for a moment you think she won't, but then the words come gushing out. Their body was long dead, that much was obvious. After you left, I checked them, but there was nothing, no signal, no function. The ship mine was the same. Dead. I don't know if Ashton's plan would have worked. He seemed desperate, but that doesn't mean it wasn't. She pauses, unsure how to continue. I don't think he was lying, but you have to understand I've had crew members double-cross me, undercut me, rat me out. That's the business. He wasn't a good person. None of us in this job are, and this is how we die, alone. I'm sorry they had to die too. She stops, not sure of what to add. It seems like she's reaching for something, but she can't quite get there. You feel that gap between you, and as you do it widens. The water drips, the moss trembles. You both stand in the silence for a while longer. You both feel it, life creeping back in, the silence ending. Ankita shifts her weight and then starts to walk out. You follow her, suddenly eager to be back out in the open space of the greenway, to be away from this place forever. You stand outside and breathe the fresh air. You stare at the green leaves and the stars wheeling above them. That's it, says Ankita from somewhere behind you. You try to think of something to say, but you can't. Ankita puts her hands on your shoulder. Turn back to her. At least take this. She forces a handful of cryochets into your hands. It's what I owe. She looks at you desperately. You look down at the metal bars. Ugly little things, you think. I'm totally taking them, though. You take the chits. I've got 15. She owes me like 200, I think. But, that'll keep my cat in food and mean that I can, buy parts and things if I need them. Scrap to repair my mind. You continue up the track. You take the chits and turn without saying a word. You continue up the track and she doesn't follow. As you walk up the rise, the wing pits up and the leaves shudder. You walk faster, trying to outpace your anger. The chits are heavy in your pockets and you hate them for reminding you of how little a life is worth. Well, we got 200. And a point. Oops, and a bleep. A bad end, but it's not the actual end. Found an old crewmate at the edge of the rim. Okay, so I can't see how many we've got now. We've got 1. Okay, we can't buy anything with 1. But that's a complete. So we've got enter the greenway, help them work. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm happy with what we've got left. So, mushrooms. The idea is we harvest mushrooms. Let's just check what's going on over here first. So we've still got like 3 cycles before we can do work, but it'll come and fetch us, so we don't have to remember that. We can help them. Trim place. And yeah, if we repair... a condition... we could use a pill and then top it up. 1 more, and then we'll use a pill before we lose our 4 dice. And then we'll top it up with scrap, and then we shouldn't have to use a pill, hopefully. But we're going to harvest our mushrooms. We should be able to get a good selection with these die. We don't need to worry about energy or condition. So we've got random rare mushrooms, so we've got 2 club heads and a matsuk, which is good. Carefully pick the best developed cap. So we've got another one and another matsuk. That's great. And then these should be slightly somewhere in the middle. Neutral, 2 random, and plus on the fungus shield. You select a set of healthy large caps. The smell is complex and it reminds you of some of the best meals you consumed on the eye. Okay, so we got 3 clubhead, 2 girol, and 2 matsuk. And I think we're out of yield. And we need to germinate some more spores, and we didn't think of that really, and now we have no spores. Okay, so matsuk gives us 3. Girol gives us 2.
And we need 2 Matsuk also for might as well try and collect spores, right? We got 1 spore. Okay, cool. Well then, if we got a good dice next time, we get another spore. But yes, do we do the lem thing, or do we just try and... We can cook to roll, but... We put... Okay, hang on. So we've got 1, 2... Okay, I think we could do this. Matsuk. And then 3 left. And then we only need 1 Matsuk next time to do the mushroom quest. Rico has findings to share with you. Rico meets you at the entrance to the lab, leaning on her crutch with a glint in her eye. Walk with me, sleeper. I'd like to tell you a story. She makes her way down the corridor that leads back up towards the main commune building. When people first crossed what we call Founder's Gap into the Greenway, they did so against the wishes of Andre Erlin. At the time, Erlin was trying to stabilize the Union and establish control over the Eye in the wake of Solheim's collapse. It was chaos, competing factions, failing systems, so many dead and injured from the riots. That was his priority. Why? Erlin was interested in people, not plants. He was a pragmatist, and for good reason. You both crossed through a glass-roofed tunnel, the greenway outside crowded with vines and branches dappling the light. Erlin had written the greenway off, cut off from the rest of the station and linked to a broken spoke. He claimed it was only a matter of time before everything here would die. He refused to let anyone abandon their duty to the Union and cross. They were traitors to the cause, or good as. Rico continues, making her slow but steady way into the inner gardens of the commune. There weren't many of us, but we believed what was here was worth saving. We had to keep our plans secret until we crossed, and some of us left people behind. She pauses to catch her breath, her voice cracking. It's difficult to know from effort or emotion. What we found was a disaster, nothing like what you see here. Half the greenway was leaking oxygen into space, the plants flash frozen, the other half was a swamp of mulch as decaying matter clogged every system. We worked hard, we lost good people, we cleaned up and closed up, but it was never going to be enough. After many, many cycles, we all knew this place was doomed, but we kept on working, taking less and less because we couldn't face it. We all developed a death wish. If the greenway was going to die, so would we. But it didn't die. It did not, Rico smiles. We crossed some invisible boundaries, tipped some biological scale, and the greenway started to recover. Plants flowered, crops sprouted. For the first time, we reaped the fruits of our labour. Rico smiles, looking up at you. We thought it was us, that we managed to do just enough to end the cycle of decay. I thought we'd save the greenway until today. You pass into the grow beds of the commune, rich with the hustle and bustle of Haifa members planting and harvesting. For a while Rico is quiet, and you simply observe the hypnotic movements of the work crews, the eager chatting washing over you like a wave. Rico smiles to herself. I should have known, of course, that our arrogance was unfounded. We needed to believe back then. We needed a myth to bring more people across the gap. You both move into a smaller corridor, Rico following some direction unknown to you. What you've shown me is that back then the greenway saved us, not the other way around. Tell me, have you ever consumed one of the Matsuko jewel caps you've been growing? Have I? Yes. I imagine they were delicious, nutritious, almost uniquely so. She muses. After all, they were designed for you. Rico has a mischievous look. At first I thought it was the location they were grown in that made the mushrooms from the aviary, from the labs, or from the grove different to each other. But what I've come to understand is the person growing them. The Matsuka and the Girol caps you brought me are totally unique, containing compounds never usually found in similar specimens in my possession. Many of these compounds aren't even digestible for humans, but for a sleeper like you. Rico smiles as she leads you into the internal garden of the commune, where Haifa members have planted species from all over the greenway. Back when the tide turned, when the greenway started to recover, we all felt something, a response. It was as if this place was not just alive, as a forest is alive, but alive in other ways. Communicative, responsive. We shrugged it off at the time, but now I understand why. Rico stops and turns to you. This place is responding to us, adapting itself to us. It's growing fruiting bodies for you, for me. It's adapting, changing. It is, in short, displaying all the signs of sentience. The greenway is sentient?
Perhaps not the Greenway, but the ecosystem itself or something within it. That gentle giant from the beginning. Riko sits on a bench within the peaceful gardens and gestures for you to join her. When you've been growing the Girolles and the Matsuks in the aviary, those species so familiar to the Greenway, have you discovered any others? Yes. Riko can barely contain her excitement. I should like to see those. Please bring me some next time you're here. You look around the garden, amazed at the sense of peace within it. Riko interrupts the silence. There's a species of mushroom I haven't seen in years. It's short, dark, shaped like a club. We first found it in those early days when we were working to save this place. It was around that time we started to lose our first members. They were succumbing to some infection, some mold growing deep in the dark mulch that drowned this place. At that point we thought we were lost. Then these mushrooms emerged from that same black mold. We tested them and saw that they contained some compounds that counteracted the mold. They contained an antidote. Of course, as a botanist, I saw this as part of the natural process of this ecosystem, even if the timescale seemed absurdly short. What I'm wondering is if the antidote was a gift. Riko matches your eyes. Perhaps if you are patient, you will receive your gift too, Sleeper. Ooh. You both sit for a while, Riko seemingly done telling stories for today. You watch the light playing off the leaves and the plants around you and wonder what forces could be at play in this place. After a while you stand and leave, with a quiet nod to Riko, leaving her to her memories. Cool. Alright, well we have some clubheads. We only need 3, and we have 3. That's excellent. Okay, clubhead samples. Riko's easy to see if the clubhead samples are grown in the aviary. She hasn't seen mushrooms like this in decades. Are these fruiting bodies the same that emerged during the early days or something else? So, we track that. You hand them over to Inigo Riko, who immediately begins work on the samples. Soon we can plant our seed, I guess. Riko wants to share her findings with you and seems even more excited than usual. Riko is at her bench, running small vials of some liquid through an old chemical analysis machine. The whirring of the spinning drum fills the lab with white noise, and you aren't sure if she notices you approach. Sleeper! It's good to see you. She looks up, smiling. This little project of ours has been keeping you awake the past few cycles, but right now, well, I think I have something. Sit. The drum finishes spinning, and Riko lifts a vial from it, holding it up to the light. This is something I extract from those clubheads you've been bringing me, and according to my analysis, it's a substance totally unique on the Greenway. You look at the small amount of liquid in the vial. Any idea what it might be? Without looking away from the vial. Riko asks without looking away from the vial. Stabilizer. Riko nods. You aren't the first sleeper to come through here. Perhaps I should have mentioned that earlier. Riko's tone suddenly drops, changing the atmosphere in the lab immediately. I just thought. She pauses, thinking very carefully about how to continue. I just wanted you to trust us. What do you mean? She sighs. They came through a fair few cycles ago. We found them wandering the broken section near the gap. The members who brought them in had never seen one of you before. They were terrified of this strange person wandering in from open vacuum. They were quieter than you and damaged. We did our best to patch them up and welcome them to the commune. I only really spoke to them once when I was working on their wounds along with a couple of systems engineers. She looked nervously at you. I'd never seen a body like that before. I took some readings, some samples. Samples? You have to understand, I was curious. I didn't know what I was looking at. I just took a little of the damaged material, less than a thumbnail. She shifts her weight to her crutch. The next cycle they were gone. They took a look of little food and hiked up towards the wild margins, where the Greenway meets the wastes. Someone saw them in the distance, but that was it. They disappeared into the overgrowth. She sits down heavily, the vial in her hand. When I saw you, I wanted things to be different. I wanted to keep you here rather than let you disappear into wherever they ended up. She smiles to herself. Yes, I wanted to understand this place better, but I also wanted to help you. It seems that somehow both my wishes have come true at once. She holds out a hand with the vial. This is for you. You take the stabilizer, the glass cold and smooth in your palm. Thank you. Don't thank me. She gazes out the Greenway through the glass. Those clubhead caps made it for you, at least who or whatever made those clubheads. She starts to clear her bench. It was right there, contained in their tissues. I only had to extract it. I imagine you understand how incredible that is. I learned enough from that sleeper to know that your body, your frame, runs on some exotic technology. Exotic technology, there's a time limit built in. Somehow the Greenway knows that too. It understands your physiology better than I ever could. It knows how to treat you. Just like that miraculous antidote that sprung from the mould, so too is this sprung from your presence here. The Greenway is speaking to you. It's welcoming you. She looks up. I know it sounds crazy, but I know it to be true. Here's the evidence. And what I know is It is no longer speaking to me. Even after decades here, I've never seen this kind of response. Not since the antidote so many cycles ago. She smiles. So I'm going to make you a deal. You bring me as many club heads as you like. I'll extract the stabilizer and give it to you freely. But you have to tell me what the Greenway says. You have to speak with it, to dig into it, to find out what being is at the center of it. I've traveled as far as I can. I need you to do the rest. Can you do that? Yes. Rico sighs with relief and deflates into a chair. Thank you. I'm sorry for the other sleeper, truly I am. I'm sorry I couldn't have done more, but I'm so glad I met you. She smiles. You're welcome here at any time. Rico falls silent. She looks smaller now, more fragile, and you realize how old she must be to have seen the collapse firsthand. You idle a little in the lab in case she asks for anything else, but she remains silent, and so you drift back into the tunnel. Thoughts of that other sleeper and where they ended up weighing on your mind. Excellent. And the bloop. Grow your own. Groot become self-sufficient through botany. Okay, so can we plant this seed yet? We need one more mushroom lot to do stuff there. 2 upgrade points. Okay, so do we wait and one more that? Do we? I don't feel like we desperately need that yet. So Hypha Labs. We can synthesize with 2 of them. We've now got 4. I feel like we could use it and just upgrade it, so we just get 5 dice next time. Right, and now we've got the nursery. The only way to understand what the gardener gave you is to grow it. Rico is incredibly excited by the prospect. I'll take good care of it, sleeper. Rico smiles. Don't you worry. Neutral outcome. And now we have the growing. So we've got 6 cycles before the seed is mature. Seeds planted and Rico's an attentive mother. What future is forming? So we don't have any. We are good on energy. Excellent. So what we've got left is growing the seed. We need 2 of them at Zoot Cap, so we need to grow our fungus. We don't have any. We need 2 more spores. Bliss, we need to do Bliss stuff, and Lem's babysitting, and then I think we need to do the Lem thing before we can win a ticket, possibly. But for now, we've got slightly more manageable stuff, so input the cryo, so I can feed my stray. So now, 14. We had a billion, a lot of bloop bloops. A lot of bloop bloops today. They're all in capitals. It's weird. I guess I like commands. So, because we've got 4 of these things, and if we can keep ourselves under condition with the repair on the scrap, do we just... And we can also do it, we get the mushrooms. You see, now we have better control over that, gives us a better thing. We have 4 dice. Oh, let's just do it. Okay, interesting. Right, so... Still got time on that. We need to go and get some spores. Spores are settled, you need to wait time. So, now we've got to wait, what is it, 4 cycles there. We've got mini cycles there. That's now a synthesis thing. Gathering scrap. That needs 2 more, I think. So I guess we're babysitting. We don't really need credits either. Lem can't work shifts in the shipyard unless someone watches Mina. You two seem to get along last time, and Lem is desperate. By the end of the day, Mina curls up in your lap as you read your story. She's asleep when Lem gets back, and you two eat together. And we've got plus energy, so we may as well use some of the ones. I mean, you know. Neutral outcome. Mina leaves you on a winding tour of the block, chatting to the neighbours and collecting snacks. For a while, you forget about everything else. Excellent. She's asleep, whispered Lem, creeping back out of the unit's tiny bedroom, sliding the door shut as he does. You're perched at a thin bar in the main room, the slate in front of you still glowing with Mina and your drawings from a cycle spent together. There's a ring, the only world Mina has known, with stick figure standing along its edge. Tall one is you. Drink? Asked Lem, producing a worn-looking bottle of Girol from under the bar, its contents glowing amber in the fluorescence. Sure. Lem nods and glugs a few fingers into a couple of metal tumblers and sits down with you at the bar. Cheers, he offers. You clink the metal containers together. You know, we actually have something to celebrate this time around. Lem gives you a sideways look. I made the assembly team on the Citadel. He grins broadly. Clearly he's been desperate to tell you all cycle. Knew it. Lem holds up a drink. You did get there first, friend. I'll give you that. He looks away. Seriously, though, couldn't have done it without you keeping an eye on little Meanie back here. Lem shifts a little on his stool. He looks uncomfortable. How's our girl doing, Sleeper? I haven't seen much of her these past cycles. Doing great. Of course she is, he playfully squeezes your shoulder. She talks about you a lot, you know. Draws you. I'm glad she has a friend that isn't me. His eyes drift to the bedroom door. She's great. He nods. I can't take all the credit for Mina. She isn't actually mine. I mean, biologically maybe not, but she is definitely yours. He gazes into the middle distance. I pulled her off a refugee shuttle out by one of Ember's moons. The colony was falling apart for decades after Solheim collapsed, surviving on next to nothing. Eventually some of the residents tried to make it for the Eye on one of those decrepit old shuttles. He sloshes the drink around in a tumbler. They had no idea what they were doing. The one Mina was on decompressed halfway here. Everyone's spaced. The only reason she made it was someone sealed her in a weapons locker. She was ice cold when I reached her. Purple lips. Oh. That hit me like a wave of emotion. Well, I mean literally a wave of emotion, but that hit like a ton of bricks. He shivers. I shiver. The writing in this is incredible. Once I picked her up, I wouldn't let go. The medics treated her with me still clinging to her. He takes a drink. Still not sure why. He reaches over and refills his cup. We weren't exactly anyone's heroes, you understand. We were private military, hired in by Conway to protect their claims in the collapse. But once I got Mina, that was it. I quit. Got her stumped here. You saved her. I'm going to sound like an idiot now, but he's honest. She saved me. That's the truth of it. He looks around the decaying unit at stained plastic plating and flickering lights. Me? I brought her to this. She was tiny, too small to know what she lost, but I can't stop thinking about it. He rubs his eyes, dark with tiredness. What if our number doesn't come up in the draw, Sleeper? Then the Citadel will sail off without a thought, leaving us here. What's that for her? We'll make it. Sorry, I know you don't have it any better. He looks at his cup and pushes it away from the bar. This is a celebration, right? Both of us on the team now. Both of us in with a chance. Together. That's right, we hold on together. Imagine all three of us riding the Citadel horizon out of here to a new world. He looks into his glass for a moment. I drank this too fast. He laughs. Lem stands and starts to clear the glasses into the auto wash. I need some sleep, friend. Me too. All right then. He catches your shoulder and you turn to leave. Thank you, Sleeper. I mean it. From both of us. Pats your shoulder and you slip out into the dark of the walkway with thoughts of little Mina in your mind. I'm gonna go with Onion Ninjas. No, that was just a really good spot. Helped a friend and had fun with Bun Bun. That was just a story beat that just like punched me right in the freaking feels. I'm gonna go with, if I get a ticket and they don't, then they're getting out of here. I'm guessing I need to do this bloody long quest to be able to get to that. But I kind of don't want to leave. This place is literally making the stuff that will help me survive. I don't want to leave. Plus, if I stay, then I can do the DLC. So, we've got the Alt Exchange. We're not selling stuff. We can play the exchange and get some things. Actually, I know we lose if we... And then the Fabricator. The ship mine parts. And then we've got Mushroom Guy. We still need to bring him Matsuks. We've got one. The only way to get that is growing our mushrooms. I'm going to do a little delivery. I think we get more by doing the freight thing. So, we've got a 1 dice. We don't need data right now, so let's put this in here. Got 10 plus the 15. But yeah, that hit me in the feels. Feed my kitty cat. To be fair, this feels like a good place to stop. But it also feels kind of like we're nearish an end. But let's finish the cycle. It feels like a good place to stop. Also, I'm getting hungry. So that feels like a good place to stop. Yes, we got the feels. And then we've got this like huge quest for things. We've got mushrooms and stuff to grow. So, last saved 5 seconds ago. So we have to bring zoot caps, complete repair jobs, and then complete the citadel. But we're waiting for this tree to grow. And yeah, we've done everything but 2 quests. One of them was a DLC, so you know. 3 upgrade points. Okay, so we can get +1 engineer. Hang on, how many quests do we have left? So we've got potentially minimum 2, which we could get those 2 conditions. Okay, so let's use that to at least upgrade that. Engineer is going to be useful to have a +2 on. I don't know if we can get everything, because as I said, we did fail 2 quests. I mean, to be fair, I was going to go till 7. It's now sort of 10 to, or 1:45. I don't actually know what time it is. 10 to. My clock's a bit off. Yeah, it's really hard to stop playing this game. Did that even... Okay, so I don't know if that's saved that. Ah, saving now. Okay, cool. Perfect. Last save. Back to menu. Yeah, so 15 achievements out of 27. Right. Let's just round up and then see. So tomorrow I'm going to do a promo game, which is slightly weird and slightly different. Tuesday I've got another promo game, which is slightly weird and slightly different. Thursday doing co-stream with Jessie with a promo game, which is slightly weird and slightly different. I think we've got a theme. And then I'll have a Saturday stream next week, which I may do more of this. And then I think I'm cancelling my Sunday stream because I'm meeting a friend. I think that's next Sunday. I've lost all sense of time. And then we've got... Actually, that works because then we've got a special Halloween co-stream on the Monday, which I need to put into my schedule. Jessie and I are doing a spoopy story game. Storytime with Joe and Jessie, spoopy edition. Then the Tuesday is the 1st of November. I don't actually know. I haven't really planned that far ahead. So we've got like 4 promo games. I've got like 4 promo games planned, plus another session of this, unless something else pops up into my brain. Basically. And then it's debatable whether I'm doing a Thursday stream before Extra Life. I don't know. And then obviously the Saturday stream will be subsumed into Extra Life, and then I don't know whether I'll stream on the Sunday. Probably not, to be fair. I will take that Sunday off. So it's going to be slightly wonky schedule for the next couple of weeks. But I think it's going to be fun and interesting. And hopefully worth it. And hopefully culminating in an excellent 24-hour stream. That's what I hope anyway. So yeah. Subsumed. Yes, subsumed is a nice word. So I'm hungry, so I'm gonna stop, yattering and get on with it. Thank you again for either the PR firm or the publisher, whoever was in charge of giving out codes for this game. Really appreciate the opportunity to effectively own it, because although it's on Game Pass, it will be going out of Game Pass at some point. But, if you're not attached to games like I am, or as attached to games like I am, then it is on Game Pass if you want to play this game, Citizen Sleeper. It's freaking excellent. It's lots of time, lots of story time, and you will get a different experience to me because you will play differently. You will get different dice. You will pick different choices. So it's worth it. So yeah, play this game. It's freaking epic. I love it. I love it so much. I feel like one more session and we will get an end. Hopefully the next DLC will open up. Before my next stream, next Saturday, I think I said. It's possible the next DLC. Yeah, I think it was the 27th, so yeah, I think that was the Thursday. Anyway, so yeah, we might have Flux Part 2, or whatever it's called, which we will try not to get massively distracted with, but we're also totally going to get slightly distracted with it, aren't we? Especially now we've effectively got unlimited conditions out of 5 dice. And a couple of 3+2s, so yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you very much everyone for being here. It's been great having your company. Hopefully you've enjoyed the game, or fallen asleep listening to the sound of my voice. I mean, whichever which way. And I will catch you tomorrow. I will try and keep to time tomorrow, because otherwise, this could be a bad habit. So yeah. Alright. Have a great rest of your day, whatever time period you're in. And yeah, if I don't see you tomorrow, have a great weekend. Bye. Oh, did I say that I've been Joe, otherwise known as Angel SK? Maybe not, but I'll say it again anyway.